All right, what's up, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome to the finals of our 2026 Winter Freeze. It seems very aptly named because it is absolutely freezing here on the East Coast, USA. And we are very excited for this tournament. We got some awesome sponsors, including 3D Connection, putting up some really sweet prizes for our runners. Very excited to be working with such a good company, such a reputable company, and a company that's been in the game for a long time and has really done an awesome job of helping people get better, get more efficient, and have a better and an easier time to work in 3D CAD by just making it kind of feel and navigate a little bit more naturally. When you navigate using one of these Space Mouse, or in this case, Space Mouse Enterprise, it just feels so natural to use that puck and to kind of rotate the models. So huge shout out to our sponsor, 3D Connection. Visit them, 3dconnection.com. And today we're going to find out who's going to win these prizes. Only our top three are going to win the prizes today. So our first match is going to feature a fourth and third place battle to see who's going to get in the top three and who's going to win one of these awesome prizes from 3D Connection. So welcome, everybody. Let us know where you're coming from. Let us know what CAD system you use in the chat. I see Serial Sal in the chat says it's 80 degrees in San Diego. It's so cold. Thank you. Thank you very much, Serial Sal. Great to see you here. Got to actually hang out with Serial Sal a little bit one-on-one this week, and that was pretty epic. But I wish I could have been there in San Diego with him. And we see here, Vicky says it's 16 degrees here. It feels like 4 degrees. Nice. Vicky, maybe you can let us know. You can see Dom's got a question in the chat. You can kind of throw in a little rundown there of what each of our winners gets: first place, second place, third place, fourth place. We're also going to show that a little bit later in the presentation. And Victor K is here, says out here in the Pacific Northwest. Nice, nice. D Alex says love you. Thank you, D Alex. Love you as well. And Carter Gary says shout out the kid. Yo, shout me out, kid. What's up, Carter Gary? Welcome. And he says, you sleep in a twin bed. Okay, nice. Thank you. That's good to know. I wish I was small enough to sleep in a twin bed. I haven't been able to fit in a twin bed in quite some time. We see here that Jim Yu is here in Sweden, Norway, and he's rocking the new FreeCAD build. Let's go. And shout out to Lucas Jacobson. D. Alex says shout out to Luke Jacobson. Yo, let's go. We like it. And Chase says, W, Toby. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Guys, welcome. Berserk001 is here as well. It's been such a fun time having this tournament, and we've had a regular co-commentator throughout this tournament, and I'm very excited to welcome him back to the show. Guys, put a 1 in the chat for our friend and yours, none other than Phil Brown. Phil, thank you so much for coming back and joining us here in the finals. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm super excited to be back once again, judging, I guess, commentating, and still a little sore from yesterday's butt kicking from Too Tall Toby coming over to our channel and showing us how things are done.
Well, it was a lot of fun, and guys, if you didn't get a chance to see it yesterday, Phil and I did a little grudge match. It was really, you know, we were being a little bit deceptive. We were actually trying to test out some new technology that we want to start rolling out this year for live streaming, and we managed to actually incorporate it here in today's live stream. Now, we were able to get Phil. You can see Phil's actually coming through in HD there on his video, where usually, you know, it looks like it's a little bit more grainy, but we may be experiencing a minor issue with his audio. So if you guys do hear anything with his audio, just know that we know about it and we're getting through it. Maybe you won't even notice. It might just be on my end, and we're just trying to figure this stuff out as we go. But I'm very excited to see Phil and to actually see him in high definition. Man, you are so handsome, Phil. I didn't realize it before because you look so blurry before.
Right? You could actually see where the beard and the shirt ends, right?
It's
They're
awesome.
no longer just one black silhouette.
Dom Linder in the chat says, we love an HD Fusion, Phil. Yeah, that is what's up. That is what it's all about. We got to have that HD Fusion, Phil. So, guys, we're going to continue to work through here. As always, though, you guys are kind of like our production crew, so you can let us know if anything sounds too quiet, too loud, if the music's too loud, if the music's too quiet, if I'm too loud, if Phil's too loud. Just let us know in the chat, and we will make sure that we correct on the fly. And as we continue giving these shout outs to all the great people in the chat, of course, I wanted to introduce all of you to Phil. Phil Brown, he's United States Marine Corps veteran. He's the president of JIT CAD CAM, and he is an absolute wizard in the world of Fusion and in the world of both CAD and CAM. And that makes me very jealous. I wish I was in the shop with you, cutting chips and getting, you know, smelling nice. We got to bottle up that smell, that machine shop smell, and turn it into a cologne. I think we could become instant millionaires.
I don't know, man. I don't know who wants to smell like menthol 100s and depression.
Well, there certainly is a lot of that going around the shop as well, depending on what time during the week you happen to visit. But one of the things that Phil is doing right now with his company, with CAD Cam, is hosting an upcoming tour of Florida. And Phil, maybe you could just talk to the audience a little bit about that in case anybody happens to be down in that area.
Yeah, no worries. So we do this actually all the time. We host a boot camp in different locations all across the U.S. We do them at machine dealers. That said, we are actually going to road trip from North Dakota all the way down. And if you're anywhere along the way, we still have room to stop in, say hi, meet and greet you guys anywhere and everywhere. So feel free to send us an email. And if you are in the Florida area or looking for a reason to get out of where it might be cold, you can easily fly in for that training as well. It is a 3-day training. You don't have to be there all 3 days. In the middle of the week, Wednesday, we're actually doing a CAD for Cam class, which is quite valuable to anybody newer to a CAD software to learn the basics. As well, we like to say turn a napkin sketch into a design that you could go out and later on machine.
Very cool. So is there a cover charge or anything for people to attend that?
No, so that's the great thing about this is we throw these all the time. They're 100% free. Nice. Obviously, we have our machine dealers giving us the space. We just show up and conduct the training.
Wow, that is great. Well, thank you, Phil, so much for putting that on. I'm sure that all of the Fusion users or anybody who's interested in learning a little bit more about Fusion in the Florida area is going to be attending that. And we see a lot of people in the chat saying that looks awesome. And we also see Dom Linder in the chat put out so that maybe you guys could feature this at the event. It looks like there's Rancid Coolant by Versace. So maybe that's what you could use as like a little, throw that into the swag bag for everybody, a little tiny sample of that. So
I'll put it right next to my torn up jeans that I bought brand new that way. You know, that was the style, is to get the jeans that are all tore up, that you didn't do it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get it pre-ripped. Exactly. That's why you got to pay the extra for. Well, guys, listen, we're very excited to have everybody here. If you're enjoying what we're doing here on the channel, if you're enjoying these CAD vs. CAD tournaments, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to share and reshare. Take a screen capture of what we're doing, and you can send it out to all your friends, to your social media networks. And if you have the financial means, we would love the support. You can use Super Chat. Super Chat is open today. You can also visit us at tootalltoby.com, and you can sign up for an account over there, or you can hit up tootalltoby.com/donate. And our winter freeze this season, we started this actually at the beginning of the month. Started out with a battle between MEHTAB and Jaden Hernandez, and MEHTAB was able to get through that match, but he got stopped in his next match, which occurred last week. But don't worry, we're still going to get a chance to see MEHTAB today. We also saw in the kickoff Dom squaring up against M using plasticity, and Dom was able to defeat him, but he also got stopped last week in the semifinals. But we're going to see Dom today as well. And then we saw Otse squaring up against Gray. Otse actually coming off the bench. He was one of our former contestants, and this time around he put his hand up and he said, hey, you're struggling to get alternates, let me get in here, maybe I can make some noise here. And here we see he's actually made it all the way through to the finals. And then we saw in the lower right corner Ricardo Jean. He's the only two-time tournament winner here in the Too Tall Toby circuit. He's currently the world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling, and when you see this guy model, you will be able to understand why he is so fast. And so today we're going to see a battle between our third and fourth place, and then we're going to see our finals. The battle between third and fourth place is just going to be one single battle, and that's going to determine who makes it into third, who wins the prize. Vicky listed the prize there in the chat a few moments ago, so it looks like we're going to see a prize here for third place, a Keyboard Pro kit, plus the Keyboard Pro numpad and the CAD mouse, and a CAD Mouse Pro wireless. Wow, that's awesome. So you get really hooked up there for that third place prize. So congratulations to our winners. And again, thank you to our friends over at 3D Connection for the sponsorship. And guys, what these guys are competing for is not only these prizes, but also a chance to be featured on our wall of champions over at tootalltoby.com/tournaments. If you visit us at tootalltoby.com/tournaments, you can see all the history of these CAD vs. CAD tournaments, and you can even watch some of the previous live streams. It looks like we got our first super chat, Phil. Thank you so much to Uncle Facepound coming in with some super chat. A CAD, not only a CAD learner, but also now a CAD instructor, putting up tutorials regularly. He's absolutely crushing it on his YouTube channel. So check him out, Uncle Facepound. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And guys, let's go. Nork C says sent $100. Yo, let's go. Cat and Carter Gary says sent 1,000. Yo, let's go. I love it. Thank you guys. That's awesome. Even if it's just the thought, it's the thought that counts. Thank you guys. And we couldn't really hold these tournaments without your guys' support, but we also could not hold these tournaments without the amazing support of our sponsors. And we have some very special sponsors here. First of all, we've got Xometry. And guys, if you haven't worked with Xometry before, they are absolutely an amazing partner to work with. Xometry takes your ideas and turns them into the real world. They make your ideas real. And Xometry features a service that we call manufacturing on demand, which means you can go to their website with a 3D CAD model from any 3D CAD system, and they can provide you with a simple, fast way to create custom physical parts. What this means is that through their services, they can provide you with a wide range of manufacturing processes you might not normally have access to, like 3D printing, CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, and they do this using the highest quality materials, including aluminum 6061, stainless 304, ABS, nylon 12, and more. And one of the things that's really cool about the team at Xometry is they actually worked with the team at Hypershock on BattleBots. If you guys have ever watched the show BattleBots, it's a really cool show where they take these robots that weigh upwards of 500 pounds and they put them in a ring and they have them battle together. Well, as the team at Hypershock was trying to develop their bot, they actually worked with Xometry. And I'm going to show you guys a little video here, a little highlight reel of that collaboration. I think it's really cool just to see all the different manufacturing processes that Hypershock was able to utilize from Xometry.
Hi, I'm Will Bales.
And I'm Alex Bales. Together, we engineer crazy fighting robots. Getting custom parts is key to everything we do.
That's why we choose Xometry to get on-demand custom manufacturing for prototyping and production.
They offer dozens of processes like 3D printing, CNC machining, and sheet cutting.
Plus, Xometry's huge network creates massive capacity for production and reliable supply chains.
Get started with Xometry today.
Xometry, where big ideas are built.
So I think it's cool that they were able to use so many different manufacturing processes. You had some turned parts in there, you had some sheet metal parts, you had some 3D printed parts, and that's the cool thing. If you ever have an idea that you want to make your ideas real, you can visit Xometry.com. And since you guys are participants in the Too Tall Toby community, you can actually pick up a pretty sweet discount right now. And that discount is you can get 20% off your first order if you use the coupon code Toby20CAD. And the way that works is you just go to the website, you use their instant quoting system, and then when you get to checkout, you can put in that code Toby20CAD. You can save up to $200, 20% off your first order with that coupon code Toby20CAD. So check them out, Xometry. We really appreciate our sponsors. Vicky's dropping the link in the chat there, Xometry.com. And we did have a question here as well while we were talking about our amazing sponsors from One My P2. So why do so few CAD systems participate? Are others not suited for rapid modeling, or are there no specialists? You know, what's interesting is that if you do visit us at tootalltoby.com and you take a look at the tournaments page, we actually have had tournament winners from quite a few different CAD systems. So if I bring up, actually, I'll bring up the webpage here and we can look at this together real quick. So if we look here at the Too Tall Toby website, you can see you can go up to the top of the page here, tournaments, and then you can just go to the main tournaments page, and then you can scroll down here on the main tournaments page to get to the wall of fame. So we see here Ricardo won using SolidWorks, MEHTAB won using SolidWorks, Ricardo again, so of course he's using the same CAD system. But then we had an on-shape winner, Mr. Fancy Pants from our high school series, our high school heroes tournament. We had Rambro's Workshop, who actually had to battle through 16 people to earn that title. He became our 2024 champion using Fusion. We had Airwick, who battled through quite a few different CAD systems, SolidWorks, Onshape, Libre. We had Inventor in this tournament. We had quite a few different CAD systems in this tournament, and it was Airwick who ended up coming through and winning the tournament. You can see Victor K won using SolidWorks, and Allness won using Onshape. And then, of course, we have Gerben, and Gerben won using Inventor. So the thing is, when it comes to these CAD versus CAD battles, it's really more about the wizard than the wand. And that's always what we've thought. That's always been kind of our thesis going into this format of having these CAD versus CAD battles. And we just wanted to gather some of the best wizards from around the world and say, look, you can use whatever wand you want. Let's see who can be the champion. And I got to tell you guys right now, Ricardo Jean is just dominating the scene. He's won 2 tournaments already, and he's in the finals today. And so we're going to see if he's going to become our first 3-time winner, really trying to cement himself as the absolute GOAT of 3D CAD speed modeling. And guys, we couldn't have this tournament without our amazing sponsors, including Solidbox. If you haven't worked with Solidbox before, they provide professional CAD workstations for professional CAD users. There's nothing more frustrating in my head. I'm thinking to myself, like, well, why do I need to, why do I need to close some programs? I just spent all this money on this brand new computer, on this brand new laptop. Well, what the team at Solidbox aims to do is make sure that never happens to you. MySolidbox.com is the website, and they help users get up and running fast by providing custom builds of servers, desktops, and laptops for SolidWorks users. They do this by giving you an optimized build of Windows with all the bloatware stripped out, and they're able to support their customers because they've got an amazing skilled team of experienced hardware experts. So if you guys haven't worked with them before, check them out, mysolidbox.com. They not only provide hardware for the CAD systems, but they also provide services, engineering services. We had Chris Castle on here a couple of weeks ago, the president of mysolidbox.com, and he was sharing with us some of the different services they help you with, like design work or FEA or CFD. So if you don't have that kind of expertise in-house, you could always reach out to the team at mysolidbox.com. And thank you, Vicky, for dropping the link in the chat. You guys can visit that. And then let's talk about our prizes here today. Again, our amazing prize sponsor, 3D Connection, 3dconnection.com. They've been a player in the hardware space for a long time for 3D CAD users. They provide a number of different types of peripherals to help you do 3D CAD more efficiently, help you do it faster, easier, create custom macros, and assign those custom macros to all your different keys. And we've got a number of pieces of hardware that are going out to our winners today. So starting with third place, who's going to win a Keyboard Pro kit. I kind of have one of these Keyboard Pro kits here with the number pad, detachable number pad, so you can run it lefty or righty. So pretty sweet here. Of course, there's a bunch of customized keyboard keys across the top, customized macro keys that you can include, and even across the top of the number pad over here. And you're also going to win a CAD Mouse Pro Wireless, which you can kind of see featured here in this kit. The CAD Mouse Pro Wireless is kind of featured over there on that side of the kit. And then second place is going to win the Space Mouse Wireless, and then first place is going to win the Space Mouse Wireless Kit 2. So awesome prizes here from our friends at 3D Connection, and pretty sweet that we've got this community of CAD speed modelers, and we're getting the attention to some of these bigger players in the hardware space, and they're saying, this is really cool, we want to support you guys, and that really means a lot to me. So if you guys ever get a chance, if you see 3D Connection posting anything on social media or anything like that, be sure to give them some love. And of course, if you are able to, if you're in the market for any kind of peripherals for your 3D CAD, be sure to visit 3dconnection.com. They've got some great offerings. And with that, guys, I think we're about ready to get into it. If you guys are ready to get into it, hit the like button, share and reshare, take a copy of what we're doing here, send it out to your network, even if it's just like your aunt and your uncle and your grandma. Your social network helps us grow our social network. So send it out to everybody you know. All right, let's get into it here. So the way that these CAD vs. CAD tournaments work is that we take two users from around the world and we show them a 2D drawing. So a 2D drawing is revealed. Now, we not only show it to them, we also show it to all of you. So everybody out there can play along with. Phil, boot up Fusion. This is your chance to play along with against the pros. And what we're going to do is we're going to have these guys take that 2D drawing and attempt to turn it into a 3D model. And then they're going to attempt to calculate the mass, and they're going to enter that mass directly into the YouTube chat for all of us to see. So we're all going to see who gets it right. And the rules for our runners are that when the runners do this, it's usually a best of 3 battles. Now, today it's going to be a little different because we're doing third and fourth place, kind of a quickie battle. It's just going to be one battle for third and fourth place. But when we get to the finals, it's going to be a best of 3 battles. So when you win your first challenge, you're going to get 1 point, but you have to get 2 points to officially take down the title of the 2026 Winter Freeze Champion. If you get the answer wrong, Phil and I are going to say to you, I'm sorry, that answer is incorrect. Please try again. You can answer one time incorrect, and you can continue trying to solve. But if you get it incorrect twice, then that's it, and it's up to the second runner to try to solve it, and we're going to give them a 5-minute countdown timer to solve that second attempt. Now, for all of you out there in the chat, I notice there's a lot of new people in the chat. If you're new here, if this is your first time on a live stream, put a 1 in the chat. Let us know that you're new here in the chat. For all of you in the chat, we do have some special rules. And so if you're new in the chat, just make sure that you pay attention here. So the special rules for all you out there in the chat are, you can absolutely play along. Okay, so I see the Top Hat. Shout out to the Top Hat. He's here for the first time. And Shop Dog Bob is here for the first time. Welcome, my friend. So all you who are out here who are brand new, you guys can absolutely play along. You can take a screen capture of the 2D drawing. You can try to model it in your CAD system, but just please don't help our runners. So what that means is that don't post the correct answer in the chat, and don't type in the chat if you see them doing something wrong. Don't say like, oh, you forgot to fill it, or there's a hole in the bottom of that part. You forgot to add the hole. Okay, so make sure that you don't help the runners. We're gonna let these guys shine today. These guys are the stars. They've earned their way to this finals in this third and fourth place battle. Let's let them shine today. And so we see K101N1 is here for the first time. Welcome, welcome. Rainier K7R says 1, sending love from South Africa. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for joining us. And Calvin Thorne is here. HB Pilot 1. Let's go, let's go. All right, and Jern is here for the first time. And Jern is saying, yeah, exactly. Guys, if you are a speed modeling wizard, just type into the chat. Just say, I got it. Okay, if you modeled it up, if you finished it before they did, you could say done, or you could say I got it. Or if you have a membership on the Too Tall Toby channel, you could actually use a special emoticon or an emoji, and you can say I got it, I got it, I got it. All right, so just don't help the runners, please. They can read what you're writing. All right, guys, here we go. With that, let's get into it. We're going to do our third and fourth place battle here. This is going to be between MEHTAB and Dom. And so what we do to get things started is we do a quick practice round just to make sure that we've got all of our systems in check, that everything seems like it's working here for us. So we've got a very simple challenge here set up for our runners to do this practice run. And this practice run is going to feature MEHTAB on the left, and it's going to feature Dom on the right. And Ate, I see that you're in here as well, so awesome, awesome. And let me just change one quick thing here on our screen shares, and then we will jump into this practice and make sure these guys are ready. Okay, here we go, guys. We're going to get into this first practice battle between our two runners. We're going to end up seeing here this is kind of our third and fourth place warm-up, and then we're going to have our official third and fourth place battle. And so this practice battle between our third and fourth place runners begins in 3, 2, 1, go. And so the question here is, what is the mass of this part in X? Oh, wait, sorry, guys. Fake. I faked you guys out. Faked you out, Phil. Here we go. In 3, 2, this is why we do practice. In 3, 2, 1, go. What is the mass of this part in 0.xx pounds? So this is a tech check. This is not for actual points. We're just letting our runners practice the process of taking a screen capture, drawing up the part, and trying to come up with the mass. And before I even get over onto the shared screens, Dom just dominating. I watched him model it up in the green room. Wow, very impressive. And MEHTAB already right there as well. So a very simple part here, but it just goes to show how fast these guys are. They're not opening up an old part or anything like that. They actually modeled it up there live, and wow, this is going to be some fast battles today, I think.
It is going to be a wild one. I can't wait to see the outcome that happens here.
All right. Something happened with your mic there. Did you change mics?
Did I? No, I on my end, just hanging out. Am I sound worse? Do I sound better?
Sound a little bit like you're making an announcement in a department store.
We only have the best of audio problems on this channel.
Listen, guys, we're gonna figure this out. Don't worry, we're gonna get through it. All right, guys. Well, listen, I think that we are good. I think both of our runners were able to answer there. Hot mic at Phil. That's what Jern says. Jern says hot mic. All right, so let's see here. Talking through a pop can. Yeah, we're probably gonna have a lot of people a little blown out. Yeah. Well, I can probably adjust some stuff on my end too. We'll continue as we continue hearing the audio. We'll continue adjusting, guys. Don't worry. We're gonna figure this all out. I'm just gonna.
All right. I want to talk a little bit. It looked like I do back loop.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse.
Yeah.
Gotta get worse to get better, right?
Yes, indeed.
Let's try this now. Is that any better for you guys?
No, you were just doing a bit there, I think. I think everybody thought you were doing a bit. Worse. Serial Sass is worse. Way worse. It's actually better.
I think my microphone has kindly came to the end of its time.
It's better now. No, it's good now. It's good now.
It's good now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, we're good. All right, guys. That's it. We figured out the audio situation. I hope you guys had a great live stream. We'll see you guys next year. All right, guys, listen, we had to do that practice. We had to do that tech check. get everything working. Now we're ready to get into the real competition. Now, what we normally do is we turn to the Wheel of Fate, and I have a model that I think will be good for these guys, but I still want to turn to the Wheel of Fate. I love having the Wheel of Fate. We have a special sponsor for the Wheel of Fate. The sponsor is our friends over at Plasticity. If you guys haven't worked with Plasticity before, they provide advanced and Class A surfacing solutions, easy interoperability with your CAD system, and no subscriptions. Own your own tools, no strings attached. Plasticity.xyz is the website. And Plasticity is going to sponsor what we call the Wheel of Fate. And what the Wheel of Fate does is it helps us to select the challenge that our runners are going to experience. See, if I knew what challenge they were going to get, it might be, people might think I'm skewing the challenge a little bit, trying to favor one runner or the other. So we try to truly randomize things here at tootalltoby.com, including the challenges. We even randomize the challenge. But the thing is, we're only going to have one battle here between our 3rd and 4th place, unless there's a push. So I've only got these 2 challenges on here. You guys can guess which ones you want it to be, or you can vote for which ones you want it to be. One of them is a little bit older, a little blast from the past. One of them is a little bit newer. And we're going to see what the Wheel of Fate has in store for us. Vicky dropping the link in the chat for Plasticity. Shout out to Plasticity. Sponsored our last tournament, sponsoring this tournament as well. Love having the sponsors come back. Always nice. And a really cool solution, too. Lots of cool push-pull stuff. So, guys, you can see in the chat, people are trying to guess what it's going to be. Let's give this thing a spin and find out. Here we go. Shuffle, 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 and spin. Let's see. Is it going to be old or new? We're going to let the Wheel of Fate decide. The Wheel of Fate is going to tell us. Looks like it's going to be close. All right. It's going to be new, guys. That is awesome. So we're going to see drawing number 21 here. And while the production team is getting this drawing ready, Phil, maybe you could just tell the audience a little bit about our runners. We can learn a little bit more about our runners. I just want to say before we do this, good luck to our runners, of course. Shout out to 3D Connection. Whoever wins this match is going to win the 3rd place prize. We're going to do one single battle here. So good luck to our runners. And Phil, let's learn a little bit about these runners.
Sure thing. So you got MEHTAB coming into us as the number 2 seed at the beginning of this competition. Started using SolidWorks back in 2024, sometimes called the SolidWorkers by his friends. Won 6 national CAD design competitions. He's running a macro pad nonetheless. That might be the thing that gets him the success today. Going down a little bit further, avoid sketch patterns whenever he can. Should also use his first feature. MEHTAB is going to cook, as somebody's already shouting in chat. That said, Too Tall Toby power moves inspired him to start speed modeling. That's always great being a fellow streamer, is when you start to hear that people are inspired to go out and do better at the end of the day. So let's jump over. We got Dom. If you guys didn't know, Dom's only about 2 hours from me up here in the polar north. But that said, he started using SolidWorks only a few years ago, back in 2019. Entire adult career has been in manufacturing. I can relate to that one. That said, he enjoys the outdoors, designing, building projects, and has a pet Quaker parrot named Bella.
Nice. Wow. Very nice. Well, it's always cool to learn a little bit about these runners, to learn a little bit more about kind of where they're coming from, what their background is. It's so impressive. I love seeing that Dom's manufacturing experience, kind of the way that helps him make decisions as he's 3D modeling. And it's really cool to see MEHTAB, too, being fairly new to the scene, new to the world of 3D CAD, and just absolutely crushing. He's already got 1 tournament victory under his belt. So really, really cool. Good luck to both of our runners here today. And Phil, I hope you have a chance to take a look at that drawing number 21. I think this one's going to be really interesting. I think we're going to see some interesting things happen, especially considering both these guys are using SolidWorks. I think this is going to be one of these models that, although you could, you could do it one way, you could do it another way. I don't want to say too much before we get into it. Let's just get into it here. Everybody's here for this. Are you ready for this battle, Phil?
I am, man. I am so excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what decisions these guys make on this challenge. So here we go, guys. This is our Winter Freeze tournament. All of the models in this tournament have some type of a winter-related theme. And in this next CAD vs. CAD battle, for 3rd and 4th place, to see who's going to win a prize from our friends over at 3D Connection, we've got MEHTAB on the left from Bangladesh running SolidWorks. He's our number 2 seed, and he's a former tournament winner. Going up against Dom from the United States. He's our number 6 seed, and he is running SolidWorks as well. SolidWorks versus SolidWorks. This CAD vs. CAD battle begins in 3, 2, 1. go. What is the mass of this part in 0.xxx pounds? And Phil, I got a feeling in this challenge, we are going to see a lot of sketching and sketching related decisions. It's not really like a feature rich challenge. This one definitely is heavier on the sketching side, but a lot of times that's where you learn, and we get to see kind of how these guys make these decisions. Both of our runners are grabbing a screen capture of the print, and it looks like both of our runners are getting into their CAD system and getting started. So let's flip over and take a look at this CAD versus CAD battle. So we can see here that this is an ice skate blank for a figure skate, a replacement blade blank. None of the machining operations are in there yet. We've got MEHTAB on the left running SolidWorks. We've got Dom on the right running SolidWorks. I noticed that MEHTAB took a few extra moments to kind of look at the print and come up with a game plan. And I noticed that Dom just jumped right in. He was just like, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do it. So we're going to see which strategy pays off here. But it looks like Dom is already moving his way through that blade, working his way across kind of the top section of that blade where it connects to the bottom of the figure skate. I wonder if, being somebody from your region, Phil, if he's done some ice skating, probably more with hockey skates than with figure skates. But I wonder if maybe he's done some ice skating and is familiar. Although I believe ice skate blades actually replace a little different. I don't think they typically have those flanges up top. Do you know anything about skates, ice skates?
I know a ton about ice skates nonetheless, and we used to make quite a bit of parts for it. So in the world of the hockey skate, you actually have a steel blade, stainless steel nonetheless, mounted to a plastic frame, where on a figure skating, it is much more traditional, as you guys are seeing, out of stamped metal, and then from there, which actually a lot have become laser cut over the years, and then spot welded as such.
I was wondering how the two were connected. So they do a nice spot weld and then polish it all up and make it look good.
You're not billeting a skate frame, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's very interesting, and it was some interesting geometry as we were trying to come up with this challenge. I didn't want to go too crazy. You can see it already is pretty crazy with the sketching, and I think that what we're going to see here is that adding sketching relationships and creating complicated sketches is sometimes, kind of as interesting. It's really a different set of skills than going feature, 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 feature. So it's really interesting to see the different sketching as they are, the different sketching techniques as they're trying to get through and model this. I know in the past we've seen a lot of stuff with feature creation, but what I suspect here is that we're going to see a lot of what Dom is doing there on the right and what MEHTAB is doing on the left, grabbing a blue point, moving it around, trying to get the sketch feedback to change to black so that they know that it's fully constrained, fully defined. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of decisions they make along the way here with this drawing. Definitely going to be a sketch and sketch relationship intensive. We can see we're 2 minutes and 50, we're almost 3 minutes into this challenge, and both of them are still kind of working their way through their first sketches. It is interesting that even though this is a pretty sketch-intensive challenge, they've actually chosen two completely different places to start. MEHTAB has decided to sketch from the top down, creating those upper platforms, where Dom has decided to sketch this thing looking in from the side. So very, very interesting here.
It is indeed. It's always fun to see which way you start, which way you interact when it comes to these CAD challenges. Because if those of you out there don't know, if you're an engineer doing this all day, every day, like most people are in this competition, is your customer is going to come out and say, hey, I would like to put a piece of metal on a boot. And then before you know it, they want a toe pick. They want the blade longer in the back. And before you know it, your feature tree is a mile long, and you're probably thrown it away 3 times and made some changes.
Yeah, I imagine that to be the case. And I mean, that's where we really see kind of the transition from being an amateur to starting to become a professional, is when you are able to anticipate those changes, when you've worked with the customer enough that you make decisions in how you sketch and how you construct your feature tree based on the changes that you anticipate might come down the road from your customer. And you want to make sure.
I had this actually in a conversation a couple of days ago with a customer looking for some contract cam work. And it was the same thing as, how long does it take to program the part? That's what everybody wants to know. And I said, that's irrelevant. That's a 10-minute job. It's the 4 or 5 hours of changes you're going to want. That's the part that you got to pay for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and having somebody who knows how to make those changes and not have it blow up. It's always satisfying when you create a design that's parametrically sound, and then your customer asks you for a change and you update it and it just like goes smooth, smooth as butter. It's very satisfying, as opposed to like having it totally blow up on you right in front of the customer. So we see here that both of our runners are working their way through now. It looks like MEHTAB did start on that sketch on the top and now has kind of moved down to the front. I don't know if he fully defined it, but he did now. Looks like he's pivoted a little bit, moving down to that sketch on the front. And it looks like Dom is working his way through. And this is kind of what I anticipated when I put this challenge together. I was wondering if they would, little by little, just try to get the thing to go black. Grabbing a blue point, moving it around. You can see Dom grabbing that blue point, moving it around. Doing a nice crossing selection there to add perpendicular. That's absolutely a pro move there from Dom. And it looks like he got that sketch fully defined. He may be looking to draw first blood here and get the first solid feature. And he does. Dom draws first blood, gets the first solid feature onto his model. And so now Dom looks like he's going to move on to the second half. He's probably breathing a sigh of relief here, knowing that he got that sketch fully defined and knowing that he's now able to move on to the next part of this. But the challenge is far from over, and MEHTAB already did all that layout work up top, and we're going to see if MEHTAB's able to close this thing off, get this lower sketch fully defined. I know that Dom struggled a little with that lower sketch, so MEHTAB certainly has plenty of runway here to catch up.
The more and more I see the SolidWorks, and what I've learned from yesterday's schooling in the world of CAD is I do have to say the amount of shortcuts that are required to move at this speed. You said it best. I mean, 100% muscle memory, knowing what the tool's going to do before you do it is night and day difference. Not to mention, we had this saying in the military, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, 9 times out of 10. I'm a massive misclicker at the end of the day.
Well, there's a lot to be said for that, going because you're not really going that much slower, like it feels like your perception of it is that you're going a lot slower. But if you're able to slow yourself down maybe 10-15%, and that's going to cut out 50% of your misclicks, like usually that's got a positive return on investment. So it is good advice. And what do you say? Slow is smooth,
and smooth is fast.
Smooth is fast. Yeah. I completely agree. I think that Aaron C. may have said that once or twice in the chat as well. Here we see MEHTAB on the left running into an issue with that sketch. This is kind of what I was anticipating. Dom really made that sketch look easy, but I think if any of our participants in the chat go through and they try to model this thing up, they're gonna find that they're gonna be probably experiencing more so what MEHTAB is experiencing. This is what I was experiencing when I tried to audit this model, which is like a lot of unexpected fully defined, and then I'm like, wait, there needs to be another dimension there. Why isn't that locked down? Why isn't that allowing me to change it? So I think this will be a fun one for all of you to try. And there's certainly other strategies as well. You could always drop in kind of a pre-sketch to use as a layout to capture your key points. That's something I do a lot of. A lot of times when I'm trying to model something up, I'll just drop in a second sketch kind of behind the scenes that has all my key points. And I use that to try to make it a little bit easier to keep track of these relationships, because these sketches tend to get a little bit wild. You can see all those green boxes on Dom's screen. Quite a few sketch relationships there.
I gotta say, though, to say the least, at least this part doesn't have the hollow, or what would be referred to as the radius of the blade cut in the bottom. So for a lot of people out there, they don't realize that the bottom of a skate edge is not flat, contrary to popular belief. It's actually got a concave radius all the way down, and it's 2 edges, not 1.
Yeah, and there was a lot of features I wish I could have included in this challenge. I thought about it. It really is an interesting part. Another thing that I thought was really interesting was around the section that Dom is drawing now. Some of the holes that are in this section are pretty interesting. They're kind of like slotted holes with countersinks and things like that are pretty interesting to try to model if you've ever tried to model something like that. I mean, obviously you could do a slot and then add a chamfer, but there's kind of some unique geometry and some interesting geometry in that section as well. Sometimes we have to create it as like the machined blank just to keep the drawings a little bit simple. But here we go. We might end up seeing an answer coming in here. We're going to keep an eye on the chat here. Keep an eye on the chat, and we might be seeing an answer. We see Dom bringing up what we call mass properties in SolidWorks, and Dom coming up with his answer, 0.5259 or 0.526, and that is not correct. That is not correct within tolerance. We're looking for the answer in 0.xxx pounds, and the tolerance is plus or minus 0.005, and that is not correct. 0.525 0.59 was the answer that came in from Dom, and that is not correct. Not correct within tolerance. So there must be something on Dom's model that is slightly off, or maybe off by a lot. I don't want to say how close he is, but there must be something that is off. So let's see here, 0.5259. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm reading it correctly, and that is not correct within tolerance. So what Dom is going to do now is he's going to look back over the drawing and see if he can't figure out what he was missing that may have caused that part to go out of spec. Now, this is where it gets a little bit dangerous in this tournament because you're only able to answer incorrectly once. So Dom now has to decide, is he just going to grip it and rip it, or is he going to look through and see if there's anything that he's missing? And Jern says, oh, I see it. Impressive, Jern, impressive. With all those dimensions and relationships, that's very impressive. And so, meanwhile, MEHTAB, we get into a little bit of gamesmanship here. We got MEHTAB on the left trying to go through and model this thing. We got Dom on the right who answered it once. He gets, you get one chance to answer it incorrectly, and then if you go through and try to model it again. But, Dom may be opening the door here for MEHTAB. And I'm sure that Dom is trying to be conscious of where MEHTAB is in his process of submitting an answer. So we're going to keep an eye on the chat. We're going to see what happens here. Looking for the answer in XXX pounds, and the tolerance is plus or minus 0.005 pounds. Keeping an eye on the chat, not seeing anything coming in. And here we go. Dom comes in with his second answer, and Dom's second answer is 0.537 pounds, and that is correct. And congratulations to Dom. We're only doing one match here for our third and fourth place to see who earns the prize from 3D Connection. So Dom is going to win a prize from 3D Connection. And congratulations to Dom. That is so awesome. Thank you so much to our friends from 3D Connection for putting up that prize. And the answer there for that one was, the correct answer was 0.534 plus or minus 0.005. And so Dom answering 0.537 was within tolerance. Congratulations and well done, my friend. That is awesome. Way to go, way to go. Very nice to Dom. What'd you think about that one, Phil?
That was a quick one. That was definitely a quick one.
A quick
one. There's a reason I played hockey my whole life, and I stay machining, as I was just reminded.
Well, that was awesome. And MEHTAB coming in with his answer, 0.534 pounds, and that is correct as well, and dead on. And MEHTAB finished just less than a minute after Dom. It just goes to show how fast these guys are and how serious their skill is that they're both able to finish that fast. And wow, that was awesome. Guys, if anybody out there wants to grab a screen capture, I'll put it up on the screen here one more time for everybody, just in case you wanted to grab a screen capture. But wow. Good job, guys. Congratulations to Dom, finishing third in the tournament, earning the prize for third place. Vicky, maybe you could just drop the prize in again. Let us know again. I believe it's a Space Mouse wireless or a Space Mouse keyboard kit. Keyboard Pro with numpad, I believe, which I've got one of them right here. Keyboard Pro with numpad, and I think you also get a Space Mouse wireless to go with it, or a Space, I forget what exactly it's called, CAD mouse, I think goes with that. So, huge shout out to our friends at 3D Connection, making this awesome peripherals. And guys, that does it for CAD battle number 1, and that is it. That's all we're doing. We're just doing a quickie for that first battle, and now we're going to move into the finals. And GG to both of our runners. And guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We've got 120 people watching right now. Let's make sure that we get those like counts up. Let's try to match that. Let's ratio that at 1-to-1 and get those get that like count up. And Atse says, Dom broke the spell. He's not fourth again. Now it's time for me to break my spell. Atse, of course, in the chat. He's in our finals. He's gonna be in either second or first place when the dust settles here in just a few battles. And guys, if you're enjoying the channel, of course, we always really appreciate the super chat. The super chat is open. But another way that you can support our channel and support what we're doing here is we can do a little value for value, if you will. You can visit us at tootalltoby.com. We mentioned tootalltoby.com earlier. And what tootalltoby.com is it's a website where we've got a repository of over 250 of these CAD challenges. You can get started for free, and then you can unlock the entire library. And very similar to what we're seeing our runners doing today, you get to compete against the clock. and you get to see how fast you are against the clock. Now, we took a look at the Too Tall Toby website a little bit earlier. Let me bring this up again here, and we can just take a look again here. What you do is you go to tootalltoby.com, you sign up, and once you sign up here on the main page, you can see that there's a link here that says access the full library. And when you access the full library here, you'll see that you've got this repository of these CAD versus CAD challenges, including this challenge here. And Jern starting up the super chat. Thank you, my friend. Very much appreciated. Dom, GG, well done. Well done. I see him in the chat as well. And guys, this is what the interface looks like here at tootalltoby.com. Basically, what you've got is you've got a challenge here. You've got information about how many people have done this challenge and what the average solve time is. And then we keep track of who finishes it the fastest. We have a little speed modeling leaderboard here to keep track of who finishes these challenges the fastest. And you can see we've got users from all over the world using all different CAD systems. The cool thing is if you get stuck along the way, we've got tutorials to help you get unstuck as well. And we've been taking a lot of the challenges from the tournament, the Winter Freeze, and we've been adding them in here to the library. So this is an example of one of those challenges, the warm soup ladle here. So you can go through, you can try to model it up. The question is, what is the mass of this part in xxx.x grams? So if I type in 420.6, enter, it says, nope, that is not correct. The clock is still running. You got to keep going. You got to get it correct if you want to earn a point on our community leaderboard. And Dom coming in on the super chat as well says, choo choo, all aboard. Let's go. I love those train icons. Thank you, Dom. Thank you. So guys, if you're enjoying this challenge and you're out there using any 3D CAD system, be sure to visit us at tootalltoby.com. Look at this library. We've got over 250, I think we've got like 275, 287 of these CAD challenges for you to get into. And that might seem like a lot. It might seem like, well, I'm not even really sure where to start. The nice thing is we've got these things all filtered out here up at the top of the library. So you can say, I'm just a beginner in 3D CAD. I'm just trying to learn. I'm just trying to learn Fusion. I'm just trying to learn Onshape. And so you could start out at Tier 1. And all the Tier 1 models have tutorials from either myself or from the community, every single Tier 1 model, as well as every single Tier 2 model. And we're working our way through. We're trying to make sure that we've got tutorials for every single other tier level. But at least for those people who are just getting started in the beginning, you've got yourself some nice tutorials to help you get through. We've also got these things sorted by the type of model you're trying to create. So like if you never do sheet metal at your job, you could use tootalltoby.com as like a gym for your CAD skills. And you can get in here and start putting in the reps on the sheet metal challenges. Or if you are just looking to get some really cool models that you can design and then 3D print, you can filter by 3D printable models here. And these are models you can not only draw up yourself, but you could 3D print. This is a fun one here, the soap dish. You can 3D print these models and then you'll have a physical version of the part. You can actually print it out and keep it on your desk. So we've got a lot of really cool challenges here for all of you to try out. Give it a try. You can get started for free. We usually have like 10 or 15 free challenges. Looks like right now we've got 14 free challenges. Sign up for free, get started, and then if you feel like this is a good way to learn CAD, you can unlock the entire library. And I see that as we were talking about that, we got some more super chat, Phil. We got Ricardo Jean, the world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling, is here in the chat and comes in with the super chat of €10. Thank you, my friend. And we got Jim coming in. Jim Kerberos coming in with SEK 100. Thank you, my friend. Always very, very much appreciated. Thank you. We got Victor K, the world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling 2023 in the chat, coming in with some super chat. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Very, very much appreciated. And guys, if you haven't checked it out before, be sure to visit us, tootalltoby.com. Sign up and get as much practice in as you can using any 3D CAD system. All right, guys. Well, listen, that's going to take us to the second half of the show, and that's going to take us into the finals. So here we go. Let's go. I think that the next challenges are we're gonna take it up a notch here a little bit with these next challenges. Instead of going to the let's see here. Let's take a look here and see what we've got here for these next challenges. Phil, what did you think about that first challenge? That was pretty good, huh?
It was great to see, especially with the fact that everybody got to see two different views and two different angles to get in there and get it done. As well, I've seen some debating and some controversy in chat of how somebody might have missed something but still got close enough to the answer to be a winner.
Oh, wow. Well, that can happen. Listen, that can happen. We try to create the tolerances in a way that, that they're going to be forgiving if people are using different CAD systems. I guess with these guys all using SolidWorks, I probably could have tightened up the tolerances a little bit more. But there are subtle little differences in the way different CAD systems solve the same feature, especially when you get into less analytic geometry and more swoopy, lofty type geometry. You really start to see some differences in the way the different CAD systems solve. So it can happen, guys. It can happen, and it's just part of the charm of this type of a competition. Regardless of whether or not he was missing something, I think we saw Dom get through there and really get that thing put together and get it put together quickly and get it put together with a nice, fully defined sketch. I think maybe he miss a fillet on the back end of that skate.
He did. That's what everybody's claiming in chat.
A little one. A little guy. Hey, listen, guys, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And we will continue to refine the process over time, but the real point of this is to help all of our runners get some practice in and help all of you get some practice in and get some experience with 3D CAD and kind of spread the word of 3D CAD, because we're all living in this age where everybody's got a 3D printer. 3D printers are so accessible now, and it kind of gets boring to just download models and have to 3D print whatever's out there. It's a lot more fun when you can look at something and draw it up yourself, and that's what we encourage all of these runners and all the audience to start doing as well. And Big B from
it's a big thing around our house. There's zero doubt about that. As we like to say, is we have Amazon next week delivery at the fastest.
Nice.
So the amount of things that I have 3D printed and I've had to CAD model to make replacements for stuff is unbelievable at the end of the day.
I have plenty of stuff myself that is regularly used, regularly 3D printed and regularly used. Lots of utility, and that's the cool thing about being an engineer and having a 3D printer. And but you got to know CAD. You got to know how to use CAD to do it. So hopefully you guys now know some resources, and you're learning from watching these wizards in this tournament. And shout out to Big B from AZ coming in with some super chat as well. Thank you, my friend. Very, very much appreciated. Very, very much appreciated. Ate in the chat says, I got backlog for printing toys. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, guys, listen, it's time. It's time to get into this. Our finalists are ready. We are ready. Let's get into it here. We're now going to see a match between Ate from North Macedonia and Ricardo Jean from Brazil. They both won their brackets. They both won their way into this finals. And guys, this is actually the third time we've seen a finals featuring Ate and Ricardo. So it's very much like a Federer, Nadal type of a matchup here. We'll say that Ate is like Roger Federer, and we'll say that Ricardo Jean is like Rafi Nadal. And these guys just keep getting up against each other, keep battling against each other. And so far, Ricardo Jean has gotten the best of it, but things could change. Things could change really quickly here in this tournament. So let's see who's going to win this CAD versus CAD battle. We're going to start out once again with just a quick practice, just to make sure that all of our systems are in line. Do you have any advice for these guys, Phil, before we get into this practice battle?
Man, I don't even know what advice somebody like me could give other than be patient and let it come to you, I guess.
Oh, that's nice. That's very zen. I like that. Be patient and just let it come to you. I like it. I like it. All right. Well, listen, let's see if that advice actually works out and pays off for these guys. Here we go. This practice battle between Ate and Ricardo Jean begins in 3, 2, 1, go. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? This is a tech check, not a model 4 points. We are just going to let these guys take a look at this thing. It's a wood log. You can burn it if you are cold. And let's take a look at our CAD versus CAD runners here and see how these screens are looking. So you can see that we've got Ricardo Jean on the left and Ate on the right. And we're just going to resize these screens a little bit, make sure we're not losing anything. I had an issue a couple weeks back with Gray. Unfortunately, I accidentally cropped his screen. You know, like we talked about in the beginning of the live stream, we are continuing to improve and expand on our tools that we have here at Too Tall Toby in the CAD vs. CAD tournament. So hopefully some of these issues will be a thing of the past. Here we go. We got Ate on the left. Look how fast these guys were able to model that up, man. It's a shame to burn that American cherry, too. But, you know, when it's freezing, you got to do what you got to do. And we see that our runners came in with their answers in the chat. Let's see here. Dom, yep, you can stop sharing. Yep, Dom, you're good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good luck. Dom's going to probably get back to work. Thank you, my friend. And here we go. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you, Madden. Let's keep it PG here, all right? Appreciate it. All right, guys. Let's see. My first answer is 627 grams, and Ricardo also came in with 627 grams. And Flux Bench says, finally apart, my level. Is that James? Flux Bench James? You know James? You know Flux Bench, Phil?
I do not.
James, let me know if that is you in the chat. And if it is, hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us. Flux Bench is a fantastic YouTube channel as well. You can check it out for sure. All right, says finally apart at my level of difficulty. Yes, it is him. Congratulations. We got it right. We got the name right. All right, guys, listen, I think these systems are looking good. Let's get into it here. We're going to now turn over to the Wheel of Fate. And one of the things that's kind of fun about the Wheel of Fate that the audience likes to do is they like to predict what is going to show up on the Wheel of Fate. So if you're out there and you want to try to predict, we've got quite the variety here. We've got drawing number 20, drawing number 22, and drawing number 24. Which one do we think we're going to get for these CAD runners? We've got quite a bit of variety in these models, and a lot of what we're doing here on the CAD challenges is analytic geometry. But if you ever find yourself in need of some really nice advanced and Class A surfacing tools, you can visit our sponsor, plasticity.xyz, the sponsor of the Wheel of Fate. They make not only some amazing tools for swoopy, lofty type of geometry, but they also make some great tools for direct editing. Plasticity.xyz is the website. And we see in the chat that we've got some predictions coming in. Jim Yu thinks it's going to be 22. Guntis thinks it's going to be 22. Mr. Misa is in the chat today. Hello, my friend. 24. Serial Sal, 24. Serial Sal always seems to get these right. So I would say, you guys want to jump on board that 24 train, you're going to be in a good shape. John G, 24. Victor K, 22. We got ARVD. There's no vowels in that one. Oh, just an A in that one. ARV is going to be 24. Martin Quaker says 24. Let's go. Jern, 24. Highly composite. Nice. Dom thinks 22. Madden thinks 67. Yo, 6'7". Nice. We like it. And Big B from AZ, 24 is 42 backwards. Exactly. That's exactly right. Big B from AZ says he's rocking 24. Let's go. All right, guys, let's give this thing a spin. 3D Wing is in the chat. What's up, 3D Wing? Great to see you in here again, my friend. All right, guys, let's give this thing a spin and see what it's going to... Oh, Phil, what do you think it's going to be? Forgot to ask you.
I'm going 24, I think.
Forgot to ask my special guest.
24 is going to be the one to go right off the start.
You can't go wrong with 24. Let's go.
There it is.
The Wheel of Fate never lets us down, guys. We knew what it was going to be. Let's go. MEHTAB says only 3 models. I don't think it's enough. Don't worry. I got some backups as well. So we do have some other ones just in case we run out of models here. If neither runner finishes, we call it a push and we move on. Now, listen, guys, Ricardo and Atse, I want you guys to know that this model is going to be a special model. We're going to actually ask you for the center of mass. So just type in the chat, COM, center of mass, just right now. Let me know that you can hear me. I know sometimes you guys mute the live stream, but for this challenge, we are going to ask you for center of mass, which is a little bit unusual. We're mixing it up a little bit here in the winter freeze. So Atse wrote center of mass. He's good. Ricardo, just type in the chat. Let me know you hear me. Center of mass. We are going to be asking for center of mass for this challenge. Mixing it up a little bit here.
Ricardo's in chat with center of mass.
Center of mass confirmed. We are good to go. All right, awesome, guys. Normally, we ask you guys to calculate the mass, but we're going to mix it up a little bit here, guys. It's the finals, all right? And these guys are both wizards, so we're going to be doing center of mass. And while the production team is getting that challenge ready, Phil, maybe you could tell us just a little bit more about these runners.
Yeah, no problem. So we got Ase on the left, obviously ace, way. That's the way we pronounce that over here in North America. But that said, after 16 years of experience with 3D printers, he finally won one, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
He was a runner-up, got one.
That's right.
That said, the printer has not stopped printing ninjas, which is kind of hilarious to me at the end of the day. And then we can jump over to Ricardo Jean. Loves his wife. She is wonderful. I would have to agree. She's got to be an amazing woman to allow him to compete in these CAD tournaments and go 3 for 3 maybe today. So outside of that, we all know I'm not going to be able to pronounce any part of that. I didn't get the English skills. I only got the math skills in the family. But that is where Brazilian designers grow up. Guys, go check it out. Outside of that, SolidWorks Teacher on YouTube. Follow his channel. We'll go ahead and get Vicky to throw that up in chat. A little further down, he's 5 entries at Too Tall Tournament and winner of the last 2. Now, does that count this one also? Is it 6 entries at this point?
Yeah, this will be, I guess, his 6th. Yeah.
This is number 6.
Going.
So he might go 50-50.
Man, the guy is a goat. The guy is a goat, but he's up against another goat. You know, keep in mind that it's true that Ricardo has won 3 tournaments, but in all of those tournaments, I believe he was up against Otse. So Otse is, you know, he's hot on his heels, and I love seeing these rivalries. Yeah, I love seeing these rivalries developed. So here we go, guys. Good luck. Good luck to everyone here in the chat. Good luck to everyone who is running. Good luck to Otse. Good luck to Ricardo. Here we go, guys. We are in the finals of this CAD vs. CAD tournament. I'm so excited to see this CAD battle. So let's get everything ready to go here. And this first battle, you got to win 2 to take down the championship. This first battle in our CAD vs. CAD finals featuring Ate from North Macedonia running SolidWorks going up against Ricardo Jean from Brazil running SolidWorks. This CAD vs. CAD battle begins in 3, 2, 1, go. What is the center of mass in XYZ rounded to the nearest gram, tolerance plus or minus 1 gram, for example, 0, 127, 0. You can see on the screen, on the drawing, we have clearly indicated where the origin should be located, what the X, what the Y, and what the Z should be. Create this multi-body part or assembly as shown. What is the center of mass of this model in X, Y, Z, rounded to the nearest gram, for example, 0, 127, 0. Okay, create this multi-body part or assembly as shown. You can see that we've got 3 different parts in this drawing, and we've got there's the pole part that's running through the top to kind of hang your wet clothes on. There's the top rectangular bar, and then there's a sidebar, and that rectangular and sidebar have fillets. Let's jump into this CAD vs. CAD battle and see how these guys decide to approach this. This is a really cool rack here that you can dry your wet clothes on after you come in from the snow, and both of our runners are trying to figure out if they're going to do it as a part, you know, as a multi-body part. Are they going to do it as an assembly? Are they going to do both? Okay, they get to decide. It's up to them. That's the cool thing about this tournament.
Yeah, so at this point, you say hang your wet clothes up. I'm thinking where I'm going to put my hockey equipment to air out that isn't going to gag the rest of my family.
Yeah, now that we got that first challenge with the hockey skate in there, I mean, I know it was a figure skating skate, but so yeah, I mean, this is kind of an interesting one. We don't normally see this, right? We don't normally see this in our CAD vs. CAD tournaments. We don't normally see that the challenge is to create multiple parts put together and come up with a center of mass. That definitely would lead me to think that maybe this is more of an assembly challenge. But when I was auditing this one, you could also do it as multi-body part. You can do it however you want. I think what makes this challenge interesting is that on the drawing, there's some information that's kind of, I guess you could say it's missing. It's one of these things where, let me put it this way, in the real world, when you put together one of these racks, you don't really know how tall it's going to be until you put it together, right? Because it's kind of the way that you've got a scissors mechanism like this, a 4-bar linkage or a scissors mechanism like this, it will kind of define itself and almost like center itself. Well, that's part of the challenge as well, and that's what I think is going to make this thing interesting. So let's see how these guys get going on this thing. We got Ricardo Jean on the left, we got Atse on the right. We're 2 minutes into this thing. Let's see what these guys come up with.
It's definitely going to be interesting. This is one of those parts that I see that in my brain, it's a battle of being able to quickly generate something multiple instances.
Yes.
And I don't say that from a feature standpoint.
Yes. Yep.
This will also be interesting for me, again, depending on the workflow that's used. Again, we are in competition, so some people out there might be doing a few things here that you probably wouldn't normally do. But I'm excited as always to see how this turns out.
Yeah, it's almost a puzzle. This one is I was excited for this one to come up. We're starting them off on a tough one. You know, I was kind of hoping maybe this would be like the final when they're like really showing down to see who could be champion. But you know, this is definitely an interesting one because it's almost like solving a puzzle. You have to figure out, you know, first of all, you have to model the parts, which for these guys, hopefully modeling these parts isn't too hard. It's a couple extrudes and some cuts. modeling the parts should be pretty easy, but then figuring out how they go together, that's where it's going to get interesting. And you'll notice here on the left, a little unorthodox, Ricardo Jean using the block tool in SolidWorks. That's one that we don't see too often. But I got to tell you, Phil, I think that would be a fantastic solution for this challenge. So Ricardo Jean coming in clutch here, dropping in a block, trying to create a relationship between the block and the, there's a note on the print that says that the center axis of those holes goes through the right plane, essentially, the center plane, the vertical plane. And it looks like Ricardo Jean is taking care of that in a very clever way by utilizing a block there. Wow. And look at this. He's able to copy and paste that block, and wow, what a cool application here of SolidWorks and of blocks to almost create like a layout for a mechanism design. Look at this, creating the scissors design that could actually move dynamically here in sketch mode. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where this ends up and how it goes. I do like the idea, and I've done this in the past quite a bit, is when you're dealing with like levers and motion, sometimes it's easier to start with nothing more than side profiles and see how it's going to work before you turn around and do something at an assembly level.
Yeah, exactly. And this is also one of these models where it's complicated enough. Like you can see Atse on the right where he's going through and he's kind of almost drawing up all the individual sketches. And I think this is one where it's complicated enough where you could almost get too clever, and you might look back on it later and think like, maybe I should have, maybe I didn't need to quite get that clever. Maybe I should have just done like the obvious path to solution. Like even Ricardo here, I think that he's doing a solution that is, certainly it's valid. I'm not trying to throw shade or anything and say that it's not valid. But what I would say is that, sometimes we all get we get a little too inside of our heads and we kind of make things more complicated than they need to be. And sometimes the obvious path is actually the best path. But wow, super impressive use of the block command here from Ricardo, I got to say. Very clear why he is a multi-time tournament champion. And look how fast he got those 4 edges picked for that fillet.
Yeah, this is a good one that reminds me of a project I had. We had to come up with a system at a company for parts to be on a cart for a robot to grab. And everybody was trying to over-engineer and over-design something. The problem is in a machining, your raw material changes so much. And they were trying to facilitate 10 different carts. And I was like, guys, we need to take a step back and just use Lego bricks. And it was like, what do you mean Lego bricks? Legos are cheap, they're reusable, they're repositionable, kind of like how I would approach something like this personally. I think the Lego brick buildup would be the way to go, kind of like we're seeing on Ricardo's screen for sure.
Yeah, I think this is one of these challenges where if you really know your way around, some of those more exotic tools like the block command, you could maybe do it faster. But if you don't, you're probably better off just doing it the obvious solution. We keep saying the obvious solution. I think that what I mean by that is like a traditional assembly build. But wow, Ricardo, he's making a fool out of me here in the commentary booth because he is just absolutely smoking this thing using fairly unorthodox workflow and really, really cool. Man.
I think the winner of whoever does get this in competition has to make the Modeling Monday video when you come back and redo it.
Yeah, maybe. This is a really, really cool workflow to see. And I'd say on the left, it looked like he was getting a little bit hung up there on that first sketch, but then I looked back and he had everything fully defined, fully constrained. And of course, Atse has been here before multiple times, and he really knows what he's doing. You don't get to the runner-up spot over and over and over again without being an absolute wizard. And, Atse is one of those competitors where you'll look away from his screen for a second, you'll look back, and he'll just be like done with the model and submitting the answer. So this is really interesting to see from both of our runners. MEHTAB in the chat says, let me get my food ready because this is going to be good. Yeah, exactly. Very good. Very, very good. So we see here Ricardo Jean on the left. Looks like he's getting through the creation of that final kind of upper, I think we call that the side bar or side rail bar, something along those lines. And now this is where you were talking, Phil, about how it's not only about being able to create the initial shape, but then how to do something over and over again, repetitive, very quickly. So we're going to see what our competitors come up with here. Jern says,
Yeah, it's crazy how fast, like you said, Atse went from almost nothing, a bunch of circles,
yeah.
to instantly being almost an assembled unit.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I've seen that from him so many times. I've learned that you never want to count him out. He's so fast, and he's got his brain, the way his brain works, he's like planning all these different steps out so far ahead. And a lot of times you don't even realize what he's doing. And then, you know, it's just like what we just saw there. He just comes through all of a sudden at the end with that solution. So really, really cool to see this here from our runners. Of course, one of the things that we often get comments on and compliments on is that when you're doing the Too Tall Toby challenges, you're not only learning how to do 3D CAD, but you're also learning how to read diagrams and read 2D drawings, and how to practice that skill, because that's kind of a skill as well. You know, making sure that you're getting all the details, you're getting them correctly, and kind of getting used to looking at different drawing views and different notation. So it's great.
I think that was one of the biggest things that I had people message me about yesterday after me and you did our head-to-head little battle, is everybody liked to just, it was more about the fact that what it is that you're doing and the why you're doing it that way was where the real insight was, especially with your Modeling Monday, is, you know, you may design something different, but that doesn't mean that you can't learn something new, try it different ways, and it just changes your whole dynamic of everything going on.
Yes, exactly.
Uh-oh.
So we're watching the chat. We may see an answer coming in here. We're looking for the answer in XYZ. You know, so for example, it could be like 0, 125, 0, you know, something like that. You can put it in whatever format you want. I'm not going to be a stickler for the format. But we are looking for that answer in XYZ, and we're watching the chat. I haven't seen anything come in here in the chat yet, but we are keeping an eye on the chat. We're looking for the answer in, it should be in, I can't really say what the precision is, because that might give away too much, and it's kind of hard to explain that across 3 different places. But we are looking for an answer here. And in all 3 of the directions, to tolerance of plus or minus 1 gram. So, yep. And Dom saying, looks like they're both Y up. Dom, I just released a video about templates and Z up. So I was thinking about you a lot as I was making that video. Gray in the chat saying, it's a great that the assembly models are starting to appear. This is an unexplored area of speedrunning, and many of the engineers have asked about it. Yep.
You know what's crazy, though, is looking at this drawing, you know, this says this is just a tier 1 part.
Oh, it says that still. I thought I had updated that. I actually noticed that when I was going through and prepping, and I thought that I had bumped that up. I'm considering this a tier 5.
It could be a 7. Looks like a 1 to me.
I'm considering it a tier 5. Yep.
It's nice here because from the Fusion standpoint, we have a couple tricks up our sleeves from recent updates where we use joints instead of mates, which allow for motion, but we now do have what's called duplicate joints. And that is really neat because you could take one peg and then just place all the other ones if you have the whole feature.
Oh, very cool. We're watching these guys. We're watching, you know, we've seen now Ricardo bring up his mass a couple of times, or his, we call it mass properties in SolidWorks a couple of times. We thought we maybe would see an answer, but it looked like both times he did it, he decided to go back and give this thing another look. And now Atse bringing up his, and so we're watching. Wait, I didn't see Ricardo's come in. Did he type his in?
We could scroll back a little bit. I'm not seeing anything.
You got to type it in, Ricardo. There may have been a misunderstanding here, so you got to make sure you type it in. And I didn't see an answer come in from Ricardo, so I'm waiting for Ricardo to type something in. We're looking for the answer in, for example, like 0, 125.
He's moving around here.
Ricardo, add some words before your answer. Yeah, it didn't come through in the chat, Ricardo. We're watching the chat. You could also just manually type it in. Okay, Atse says he typed an answer as well. I don't see that either. Why are we not seeing these answers? Both runners getting ripped off by YouTube. Type the same answer again. So Atse types in his answer 0, 417 or 418 0. That is not correct. So try it again. Ricardo Jean coming in with an answer 0, 456, 0. That is not correct. That is not correct. So both of our runners have come in with an answer. Both of our runners coming in with an answer, and both of our runners coming in with an answer that is not correct. And so both of our runners are going to now need to go through and examine their models. So we saw.
Oh, no. Could this be?
Let's see here.
I don't know what the answer is, guys, but I think I could make an assumption as to why we have the wrong answers in chat.
Okay. Well, we're going to see what's going to happen here. Okay, guys, we're watching the chat. Some interesting. So, listen, guys, we don't normally do. I mentioned this before. We don't normally do center of mass, and so we're kind of learning. We're learning what's going on here as we're adding.
I'll
in
say
some
you can't be
functionality.
phoning a friend in chat, there, buddy.
It says, "What is aluminum? Is it the rod?" I thought I had. Let me bring up the drawing. Let's make sure that the drawing has.
I'm looking at the drawing. You have
balloons.
what looks could be deceiving. Let me just put it that way, because appearance-wise, I assume it's because the assembly kind of photo it's got what looks like wood texture without wood texture.
Well, I think I ballooned it, right? Hopefully, I ballooned it. Yeah, I ballooned it.
Well, if you're looking at the material list top right corner,
Yeah.
there's only three. There's two materials, three separate parts, right?
Right. Yep. And we got it ballooned there. Yeah, we're good. Hopefully, we're good.
I'm saying is my machinist brain, the moment I saw the color brown, I thought wood.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Dom says, "Yeah, I started with wood too." There you go. You guys are.
See?
Guys are.
It's a North Dakota thing. We
guys
gotta
are
burn
in
wood
sync.
up here to stay warm.
Guys are in sync. All right, guys, this is where it gets interesting. Now we get to see both of our runners go through and try to see if they can figure out why that center of mass would be off. You know, what exactly is it? What is it that's missing? So both of our runners are going to see if they can't figure that out. And this is very interesting. Very, very interesting here. Okay, and we're taking a look. We're taking a look.
No answer.
The answer did not come through. Nope. No answer did not come through. Trying something a little new here. We're experimenting. It's an interesting challenge. And okay, and Atse comes through with his second answer, and his second answer here is 0, 420, 429, -1, and that is not correct. That is not correct. And so, Atse, I'm sorry, but you are no longer eligible to earn the point for this challenge, and we're going to bring out the Clock of Doom. And we're going to apply the Clock of Doom here for Ricardo Jean. The reason we bring out the Clock of Doom is just to make sure that the challenges don't go on forever. But unfortunately, Atse is no longer eligible to get the answer correct. And so now we see that it's going to be up to Ricardo. He's got 5 minutes to look over his model to see if he can't figure out what is missing. Please, in the chat, do not tell them. Yep, Aegis in the chat says, "Darn, it's hard to watch and not help when I can see the mistakes." Yes, it is very, very difficult. And Demon always, those two wizards rock and rolling. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And
Ooh. This is rough. It's even worse because you guys in chat have to type it and they got to read it, but I got a hot mic and a part of me is just grinding away.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's very tough, but we're going to let these guys shine. These guys are the Wizards. They've earned their way into this tournament, so we don't want to spoil it at all. And just remember that, Ricardo Jean, you've got 4 minutes left on the Clock of Doom, and if you're entering your answer, we will let you know once it comes in. I have not seen anything come in yet. I know I saw you bring up the thing. I didn't get a chance to look at it to see if it was the same or different. But it is the answer did not come in the chat yet. So we're still waiting for an answer from Ricardo Jean. And Ricardo Jean has been here before. He knows the pressure. He knows that, there's a little bit of gamesmanship here as well. He knows that he's got a couple of minutes, so he maybe is just kind of going through and just making sure he's not missing anything silly. And that's all good. You're absolutely allowed to do that. Ate in the chat says he thinks he's got it now. Very nice, very nice. Is the XYZ unit in units of millimeters or grams? I don't know. That's a good. It would be millimeters, right? Yeah,
it's a dimension.
It's a location. Yeah. So that may be a mistype on the print.
Yeah, it calls out as grams on the print. I think that's what haunted me the worst yesterday, is because I'm not saying these are bad drawings, but there's no incremental call out for dimensions like a drawing would have, inch, millimeters. They say grams or pounds.
Well, center of mass would be affected by material if there are different materials, right?
Correct.
The MEHTAB in the chat is saying
I'm razzing you up about yesterday because as a machinist, if I look at a drawing, there's going to be a tolerance. There's going to be drawing as in inch, millimeters, centimeters.
MEHTAB in the chat is commenting. That's what he says. He said materials shouldn't matter, and then Jordan said, "Yeah, that's why I asked. Was confused." But I think
material would matter, but I'm going to stay quiet about it until after we get.
I think material would matter if they're different materials. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we're watching. We see Ricardo has brought up the utility in SolidWorks called mass properties. This is where he would be able to find that center of mass, and so we're gonna see here what ends up happening. Let's make sure we don't provide any answers in the chat, please, guys. Okay, and Ricardo comes in with an answer: 0, 465, 0, and that is correct. And we have our first point earner in a assembly center of mass challenge. That was very interesting. We learned some good stuff there that we can use for future challenges. And that is correct. Way to go, Ricardo. Congratulations. 0, 465, 0 is correct. Plus or minus 1 gram in all three directions. Or 1 millimeter in all three directions. Way to go,
I know it's
my
hard
friend.
to do it in the competition, but I think me personally looking back is, one, I saw Ase had the rails on the bottom, which was throwing him off.
Mm-hmm.
But any answer on this part that would have not had 2 zeros in 2 places would have been wrong.
Correct.
Now, for my fusion people out there, or again, my machinist brain, I would have probably did this Z up, not realizing the call out, and my answer would have been 0, 0, 465. Wrong, and wrong again.
It's funny you say that, Phil. I actually thought about that before the tournament, and I did, in my brain, say to myself, like, if somebody does submit it, as long as they put 2 zeros and a 465, I'm going to give it to them. It's the first time we're doing center of mass. We'll get a little bit more stringent in the future, but I did kind of decide that. We do have a little bit of leeway here in the production booth for stuff like that, but it's funny you say that because I was thinking the same thing, and it's we always try to make these challenges, fair for everybody. We still want to make them exciting and add some new stuff in, so we want to try and be fair. I didn't want to try and punish anybody. And it's interesting. We almost experienced a controversy there where people are getting punished just because of how YouTube was moderating. So we may have to continue to enhance our technology here and come up with some different ways of submitting these answers so we don't run into that issue as well. But guys, congratulations. Yep. Yeah, I thought about that as well. Victor K in the chat, someone you don't know, says maybe have it be a single input, just have a requirement to enter comm height from ground plane. Yep, that would be a good one as well. It's also a little bit tricky. We have a lot more latitude right now because we have all SolidWorks users. One of the things that somebody has recommended in the past is using like some of the moment of inertia measurements to mitigate the ability to use the Ivan exploit. And that's great if everybody's using SolidWorks and everybody knows how to get to that. But we have to kind of balance that against the fact that we're working with other CAD systems and what one CAD system can do, another CAD system might not be able to do, even when it comes to those types of mass properties. So there's always, it's always interesting getting into this rabbit hole. But listen, that's not what we're here for today. We're here to battle. We're here to see these guys rock and roll, and we're going to see who's going to win the next prizes from 3D Connection. Shout out to 3D Connection, guys. If you haven't visited them yet, be sure to visit them. If you see them on social media, give them some love. And let's turn back to the Wheel of Fate here and see what it has next. Now, you still have the chance to prove your clairvoyance, and you've even got a 50-50 chance. So your ability to prove clairvoyance has really significantly gone up in today's tournament. So good luck to everybody in the chat. Let us know what you think. And, of course, let us know what you think about that match. Put a GG in the chat for our runners, of course, as well. MEHTAB said, this is the only center of mass for this one. I don't want to spoil it, but I'll tell you what, MEHTAB, if there's any more, I will give the runners a heads up before we get into it. Yeah, GG. Thank you guys for trying something new here. Always fun to get into this world of assemblies. I agree with what Gray said. I saw Gray left a nice comment that it's really nice getting into this world of assemblies. I think that for me, you know, it's funny. I tried to audit that model a couple of different ways, there's so much value in just kind of sticking to the basics. It kind of goes back to what you said earlier, Phil. You said slow is fast, right? Or slow is smooth and smooth is fast. It definitely like is one of those situations where you could just assemble it. You could just model 3 parts and start assembling them, you know,
I mean, that's where I'm going with it. And I might have to do this next Thursday on the JIT CAD Cam YouTube channel and just show the duplicate joints and everything like that, and how on a part like that, it could have been night and day difference.
Well, don't forget, if you ever are making that kind of content, and this goes for everybody out there, not just for you, but for everybody out there. If you ever are making that kind of content, you can always go to the Too Tall Toby website and then post your solution here. So like this one here, we did this one together, the scoop. When you're done, when you've completed one of these challenges, you can get your tutorials listed here for the entire community. So you can go into data and analytics here, and then you can copy and paste the URL to your YouTube video. And that way, everybody in the community can benefit from that. And certainly Fusion users, we would love to see some more Fusion tutorials in there. But if you're using any CAD system, that's how you can get some notoriety, right? You can start becoming like a regular tutorial creator, and you can post them on there. Plus, you have a cool model you can use a cool thumbnail for on your YouTube channel. The video stays on your YouTube channel. You know, for anybody out there who's watching, the video stays on your YouTube channel. You just share the link here, and then we share it with our community. Victor K in the chat says, slow is slow, fast is fast. Agree. Phil, what do you think it's going to be this time? You think we're going to see drawing number 20 or drawing number 22?
Well, I have this theory that if the arrow is on the color before you spin it, that's where it ends up. So I'm going to go 22.
Okay, I'm not going to shuffle it. I'm just going to let it rip. So here we go, guys. Let's go. And let's see what the Wheel of Fate has in store. Thank you to Plasticity for sponsoring the Wheel of Fate. You can check them out at plasticity.xyz. And wow, Phil, you've cracked the code.
Did I? No way.
I love it.
The wheel is rigged, boys. The wheel is rigged.
Wow. Now everybody's going to know.
It's off there.
That's why I got to make sure I shuffle it every time before we get into it. All right, guys. Well, this one is going to give these guys a test. It's going to be, we're going to continue with our theme of winter-related products here in this tournament. We've been going strong on this theme throughout the entire 2026 winter freeze, and it's been a lot of fun modeling up these parts and kind of having this continuous theme. So we're going to continue this on now, and maybe before we get into this next match, while the production team is getting ready, you could tell us a little bit more about these runners.
Yeah, no problem. So we got Ace, aka Atze, for the rest of you, went to the Too Tall Toby CSWP prep course and passed it on the first try. So again,
nice.
Very, very valuable. You got the Too Tall Toby prep course doing wonders out there to get you guys certified. Outside of that, he enjoys designing bike frames, is his new passion, which is a blast to say the least. Moving over to Ricardo, you got brother and father are SolidWorks designers too. I feel like he might have an advantage, that multi-generational talent. Outside of that, he is Brazilian, but he lives and Italian and lives in Italy with the family. So lastly, SolidWorks expert for the last 19 years. Now, I'm curious out there because a lot of people watch this. How many people out there are 19 or younger? Has Ricardo been using you guys? Has he been using SolidWorks longer than you guys have been alive? go ahead and put a 19 in chat so we can get a good idea.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I remember thinking about that about like some bass players as I was coming up through and like learning how to play bass. I was like, man, this guy's been playing bass longer than I've been alive. He's probably got some skills. I should learn from this guy. So yeah, that's really cool. That's really interesting to think about.
We got some 22s and 24s. Awesome, great to see it.
MEHTAB's like, I'm 22.
MEHTAB started when he was 19. No,
so young. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah,
19 seems to be the number of the show this week. You got 19 years SolidWorks user. Dom started in 2019.
Omri 23. Wow, young blood. That's awesome.
17. There we go.
Oh man. Wow. I'm going to be 19 for the second time next year. Nice. I'd say nice. All right, guys. Well, listen, we're going to get into this next match. I'm very excited for this next match. Of course, we couldn't have or do any of these matches without the amazing support from our sponsors. One of those sponsors is Xometry. If you guys aren't familiar with Xometry, what Xometry does is they provide what's called manufacturing on demand, which means that you can take your parts from your 3D CAD system. You can go to Xometry.com and you can upload them right on the homepage, right into their instant quoting system, and you can find out what it would take to make your ideas real. That's really what Xometry does. They take your ideas and they make them into real parts, real physical parts. And you can do that using a wide range of manufacturing processes and materials that you might not have in-house. So whether you need a single prototype or a multi-part run, be sure to visit Xometry. Xometry.com has you covered, and on your very first order, you can save 20% up to $200 using coupon code Toby20CAD. So be sure to check them out. And again, thank you so much to Xometry and to all our sponsors. We could not have these tournaments without these amazing sponsors. And so with that, let's get into this next CAD vs. CAD battle featuring Atse from North Macedonia going up against Ricardo Jean from Brazil. Are you ready, Phil? Are you ready?
Oh, sorry, guys. I'm muted. I am 100% ready.
He's ready. I'm ready. The chat is ready. Here we go, guys. This next CAD vs. CAD battle featuring Atse. Oh, sorry, guys. Ricardo Jean has 1 point. If Ricardo Jean can take down this next match, he's going to make history. He's going to become the first ever Too Tall Toby competitor to win 3 Too Tall Toby tournaments. He's really trying to lock himself in as the absolute GOAT of 3D CAD speed modeling. If Atse wins this one, then we all win because we all get to go on to a third match. So no offense, Ricardo, but I think everybody is rooting for Atse because we want to watch you guys battle all day long. So here we go, guys. This next CAD vs. CAD battle featuring Atse from North Macedonia running SolidWorks going up against Ricardo Jean from Brazil running SolidWorks. We're in the CAD vs. CAD finals here in the 2026 Winter Freeze. This CAD vs. CAD battle begins in 3, 2, 1, go. What is the mass of this part in xxx.x grams? We're giving you a generous tolerance of plus or minus 0.9 grams. This part is made from ABS, and it is in millimeters, and it is called a hot cocoa mug. Nice for when you come in from the snow, get nice and warm. And we can see that this model is featuring some swoopy, lofty geometry in that handle region. Let's see how our runners approach this. And so we can see we've got Ricardo Jean on the left. He started out with a cylinder, extruding it up from the bottom. Very interesting. We see that we've got Atse on the right, doing some layout work here and creating what we would call the sketch for a revolve. So I think that's probably the more standard way that I would go about doing this. But listen, there's a reason Ricardo Jean is a 2-time champion of 3D CAD speed modeling. Let's see how he handles this. We got a dimension going down to the virtual sharp there. Ricardo Jean dropping in that dimension, 63 to the virtual sharp. And here we go, some draft going up the sidewall of that thing. Now here we see on the left, it looks like Atse maybe planned a little bit better. He's got that 3 millimeters and then that wall thickness at 5 millimeters at the bottom. But look at the right, Ricardo Jean was able to add 3 + 5 in his head and come up with the correct location for the bottom of that mug. Wow, wow, wow. Very impressive.
It is indeed very impressive, but I'm curious to see because you have subtracting versus adding kind of design
Yeah.
right now.
I thought you might like that. Yeah, Ricardo Jean.
do. I don't know if I would have went the Ricardo route, but again, there's a reason the guy's got 2 belts on his wall, right?
Exactly. Wow, and so there we go. Ricardo Jean doing a little misstep there, doing a revolve instead of a cut revolve. And look at how quick he was able to correct course. He revolved it as a solid by accident, and before I could even call him out for it, it was already a cut revolve. Wow. This is a pro, guys. We are watching an absolute pro here. Kane creating that bottom shape now as he's in total cut revolve mode right now. And Ate, you can see kind of putting everything. What Ricardo did there was he did, 4 or 5 different features where Ate is going to do it all in one single feature here. And so it's always interesting to see the runners and how they kind of decide on how to construct their feature tree and I always call it discretize the model. How do you decide to discretize the model? And it looks like Ate here decided look, they're at the same point. Ate just made his first feature and now he's got the exact same geometry as Ricardo, who did it in like 6 features. So very, very cool here to see our 2 runners ending up at the same point, taking a very different path to get there, but ending up at the same point at the same time. And so now we see both of them getting into this next process, which is going to be a little bit harder, a little bit more difficult. We have some construction here for what we call a sweep or a loft. It says it right on the print. It's going to be a sweep or a loft. There's a little hint on the print. But how much experience do these guys have? This is going to be, we're taking it up a notch in this tournament. From the start of this tournament, we've had more complicated models than we normally see, and we are absolutely taking it up a notch. It's the winter freeze. It's when you really got to get down and dirty when it starts freezing out there. And so we can see that both of our runners are now looking at the geometry on the 2D print, and they're trying to come up with the correct dimensions for what we would typically call, I don't want to give away too much. So I'm just going to say they're looking at the dimensions on the print, and they're trying to create kind of this area here on the mug. I think
the handle.
We'll call it the handle. Yeah, exactly. So they're going through that print there, and they're trying to figure out, how they're gonna construct that handle. So very interesting here. 2 experts from around the world. The one thing that you'll notice is that a lot of times you'll see people model up a coffee mug, and the handle doesn't look right. It doesn't look correct.
They just use a standard slot type of geometry.
Yeah, or
doesn't fit right in your hand.
A revolve, something like that. But when a traditional coffee cup, a coffee mug like this is made, there's a lot of interesting curvature that's occurring in that handle area. And even this one, honestly, this one that I've constructed for the tournament here doesn't actually quite look right. It's the best way to do this is with a spline. But I couldn't really define the spline here for the tournament to give them some geometry that they could replicate. So I switched it over to arcs, to 3 arcs for each of those, the inner and the outer section of the handle. But that's the thing that's often missing when you see somebody construct a mug and they throw it up on GrabCAD or like on a file sharing website. Usually what they do is they just take the handle and they do a revolve, or they might take like a simple circle and sweep it, but they're not dynamic.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, where it looks almost like a brass knuckle kind of handle.
Yeah, and where it blends into the body, especially. What you're really doing there is you're taking a shape like an ellipse and you're changing the major or the minor diameter dynamically, and that's something that if you don't do that, it's not going to look right. The thing that's challenging is how do you blend those 2 together? And that's what we're going to see from both of our competitors here in just a few moments. Right now, they're doing a little bit of it's almost like grunt work. They're doing a little bit of they have to upkeep. They have to just get through and get these sketches defined. But when they start actually constructing the solid geometry here, it's going to be interesting to see how they blend it into that body.
I remember getting first into CAD modeling where I was trying to take old drawings and turn them back into models to make it easier for Cam. The amount of times I would get hung up and irritated and pissed off about just bad geometry on certain models.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that a lot of times people kind of underestimate the significance of, for example, like importing a step and actually doing a proper model repair. When you import a step, if you neglect to do that, you're gonna find yourself creating and handing off files that are gonna frustrate the next person down the line.
We have a saying for that. It's called NMP.
Okay.
Not my problem.
Oh, nice. Somebody else hands it off.
That's right.
Yeah, Victor K in the chat saying imported part repair is such a huge thing on its own. Yeah.
What is the import part repair in the world of SolidWorks?
It's just when you have different CAD systems. I mean, a solid model wants to take edges, edges of the face.
Yeah.
It wants to knit them together. But when you have different CAD systems, the tolerance for how close those edges need to be together is different from one CAD system to another. So sometimes those edges don't quite zip together. And then you bring it into SolidWorks, and you get it from a different CAD system where that tolerance is a little looser, and you'll often get feedback that says, there's a problem with this face, or the problem, and what ends up happening is that like you ignore it, and then later on you go to do a cut extrude, and it says failed due to geometry condition, or like throws up some weird error that doesn't make sense, and it's because much earlier in the design you forgot to repair that imported model.
Yeah,
and
we have that in the Fusion world too, where you get certain models that come in as a step, but they're not a watertight solid, or ill-stitched edges, and it's become more and more common in a couple of softwares where you kind of do the same thing. We don't have a simple repair tool, but you could definitely go in and immediately see that it's surfaces, not models, stitch them up, start to do a little repair work. But yeah, you always get one surface that for some reason is all twisted and warped, and it shocks me to this day that it's still not a universal system between CAD software.
Yeah. Yep. It's interesting for sure. And then we see in the chat, AU Bala is saying, I spend my time mostly turning STL into CAD files. Yeah, and that's like even another level beyond that. Like
that's a no thank you from my end.
Yeah, we're just talking about like B-rep stuff, and now he's talking about going into the world of mesh and bringing the mesh stuff through, and that's also a skill in and of itself that you can develop over time. I know Victor K has done a lot of work in that space as well, so if you're ever in the Too Tall Toby Discord, you could always ask for advice in there. But
I would say 3D scans are the worst of them all. It's one thing to take an STL that has been like designed in animation software for 3D printing, or dealing with another type of STL, which is, again, maybe you're just 3D printing square parts like this coffee mug. In Fusion's mesh environment, you can convert that back pretty easily into usable geometry from a mesh. But yeah, if you're dealing with scan data of a car fender, oh man, good luck.
Well, very interesting here on this model. We're giving these guys some time. This is like I said, we kind of expected this to be a little bit of grunt work to get these sketches in there and get them constrained. And there's a lot of dimensions on these sketches, of course, in that section view on the 2D print. There were a lot of dimensions for that region. And so both of our runners are kind of going through and trying to get you just get those sketches in place and get them fully constrained. And so we're going to see what they end up doing from here, and how much experience they have with these types of blends. And we might run into a model here that maybe our runners aren't as they're not as familiar with the functionality. If that's the case, they're just gonna have to kind of hack and slash and use whatever skills they have. This happens a lot in the CAD world too, Phil. I'm sure you get a challenge, almost like a challenge from a customer to build something that you've never really built before, and you don't really know how to do it, and so you just kind of have to lean on the skills that you do have, and then maybe do some. I often refer to it as hack and slashing, and you just try to get the model into the shape that they want, or at least something close and representable.
Well, I think at the end of the day is next time I talk to somebody that thinks they want to be in engineering or designing of stuff, I'm going to show them this, and I'm going to say, this is what happens in the real world. Your customer says, I'd like a cup, and you're done in 2 seconds. And then they come back to you and say, I'd like to put a handle on said cup. And then you're down this rabbit hole, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
It reminds me of there's this YouTube video out there. You guys will have to look it up, but it's these people are in an office meeting, and they said they want their logo to be 3 red lines, and then before you know it, there's no lines, period, or they're different colors, and it is comical to say the least.
Well, this is pretty interesting. Look at what Ricardo Jean is up to over here. This is unexpected, and I'm curious as to whether or not it's gonna work.
Yeah, I see something on that model that I think might have been overlooked. And now I'm not going to say more than that, but I think it's really throwing them through a loop.
Yeah, I like it though. Again, this is an example of that whole, if you don't know how to construct the geometry, you can at least use what you do know. This part has a pretty generous tolerance on it, so maybe it'll be enough that he'll still be able to get in there. We always, when we do swoopy, lofty stuff, we have to give the models a pretty generous tolerance because there could be more than one way to solve it. Even if you solve this model in SolidWorks, but you did it using a sweep versus doing a loft versus doing like a boundary, you would probably get slightly different results. And so, you know, we always have to account for that when we're creating these challenges. So really interesting, but I really like what I'm seeing from Otse over here. He kind of took his time, got those sketches locked in, and now we see that he is on a path, and we're going to see if it's the right path, but it's a cool model. It's a cool design. You know, you've got this elliptical handle, and it's the elliptical handle. You can measure it with a caliper, and you can see that it comes up with a max diameter of 18 millimeters. But then the opposing diameter of the ellipse kind of changes over time as the ellipse moves along, as the handle moves along through the shape. And so we're going to keep an eye on the chat here. Looks like Ricardo Jean comes in with his first answer, the mass of 260.78 grams. That is not correct. Or sorry, 260.27 grams. That is not correct. The answer that we're looking for here is in xxx.x grams, and we're looking for this within plus or minus 0.9. Ricardo Jean's answer, 260.3. Trying to figure out how to round it. Is not correct within tolerance. So sorry, Ricardo, you're going to need to continue trying to model up that part. And meanwhile, we see Otse over on the right, and look at this. We see a 3-profile loft here, and talk about mastery of the software here. He's going through and he's grabbing the profiles using the selection manager. And by using that selection manager, he's able to get through it. Oh, look at this. He did a move face to get that thing. Oh, and Ricardo Jean comes in with his second answer, and his second answer is 264.8. And Phil, that is correct.
Oh.
And we have ourselves a winner and a 3-time champion from Ricardo Jean. I was so entangled, wrapped up, looking at what Otse was doing. I almost missed the answer come in. And wow. Congratulations to Ricardo Jean. And we see Otse over on the right has his mass up on the screen as well. And his mass was 2.6. Hold on, guys. I'm just checking this again. Wait. Do we have a controversy here? Wait, what did Ricardo say? 2.6.
Ricardo's 264.8. And it looks like Otse is 261.3, but I don't see Otse.
Wait, guys, I'm sorry. There's another model in the answer key that has a very similar answer. Hold on a second. Let me look at Ricardo. Wait, I'm sorry. I think I screwed this up here. Ricardo comes in with his answer, 260. That is not correct within tolerance. I'm looking at the second one now. 264.8. I'm sorry, Ricardo, that was a premature celebration. Ricardo has 1 point. That second answer is not correct within tolerance. I apologize. There was another.
And Otse has yet to answer once, so we need to clock it.
Wait. Otse, I think, did come in with an answer as well. Hold on. Guys, talk about controversy in this tournament. My goodness, I apologize. Otse came in with his first answer, 261.35. That is not correct. I apologize, Ricardo, but it was a misread on my part. There were 2 answers on the answer key that were kind of close. Spoiler alert, because we're not going to use that model later. So, oh no, I do apologize. I'm sure that gave you raised your heart rate,
clock of doom,
lowered it. But we're going to go with we're going to stick with the what's correct here. Otse, the clock of doom is now coming up. Otse's answer 1, 261.35, not correct. Ricardo's answer 1, not correct. Ricardo's answer 2, not correct. Clock of doom's coming up. Okay, here we go. Clock of doom is coming up. Guys, it wouldn't be exciting if it wasn't live, and this is what happens when we're live. Ricardo Jean answered the first time. I'm bringing up his answers again just to confirm. 260.278. That is not correct within tolerance. Confirmed. 264.85. That is not correct within tolerance. The tolerance is plus or minus 0.9. Very generous tolerance here. I got to admit, I was a little surprised because I saw the way his cup looked, but I thought maybe he was going to sneak in and get it. Otse comes in with his first answer, 261.35. That is not correct within tolerance. Clock of Doom is up and running. Wow, sorry, guys. Sorry. Especially sorry to Ricardo, but I'm sure that Ricardo understands, especially considering the state of his geometry. So I think this is absolutely fair and the right thing to do. It was just a misread on my part. And I'm going to cross out that other answer to make sure we don't end up using that one. I didn't want to use that model anyway. Wow. Wow, guys. Wow. Victor K in the chat pointing out that this does mean that we get a third match no matter what. MEHTAB says, this is the most intense thing. Food is finished. Wow, 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 guys. I was watching Atse, I was watching Ricardo, and I saw that second answer come in from Ricardo, and Dom says, why is my heart racing? Yeah, I think because you know how these guys feel. Wow, what a match. What a model. And Atse is going back through. He's looking at his model. He's looking at his, DIY X Thra says, now we need some intense background music. I don't know how intense this is. You could do the gangster music. This is pretty good, actually. This is like almost like 80s montage music.
It's that beat.
That beat. Is our audio still coming through?
I think we're still good. I can hear you on my side.
Okay, good. I had my audio layout was shifted over. Ate looking through his model, trying to figure out. Ate on the right, Ricardo Jean on the left. Ricardo Jean has used up both of his incorrect answers. And Ate,
I think somebody's got a pretty good point out there that on the website you should set it up. We'll need some private only drawing areas.
Yep.
And then they can input their answers there.
Yep. It's good. We do that on Model. We do that during Model Monday Live.
Model Monday Live.
Yep. We give you guys.
I think one thing that'd be funny is, and probably a really good time, we might have to break this down into some teams one time. Maybe go a 3v3 head to head.
I like that.
Maybe we can get some high school students or college students to come out, school versus school.
Yeah. I like Jern in the chat talking about unblockers. Let's go.
Fantasy CAD teams. Yeah, we'll have a draft.
Yeah, we got to have a draft. So we have a minute. Okay, so Ate comes in with his second answer. He says, I think I got it. Mass equals 262.52. And guys, that is not correct. Oh, man. So both of our runners have used up both of their answers, and we do not have a correct answer. And, wow, talk about close, guys. The correct answer is 263.8. And so what that means is that the range is 262.9 to 264.7. You may recall that Ricardo Jean's answer was 264.85, so he was only off by a smidge, and Atse's answer was 262.5, so he was only off by a smidge as well. I feel like Atse maybe missed the fillet on the underside, or I thought maybe I noticed something, missing fillet maybe, but wow, guys, what a battle. What a battle, and this is what we like to see from the finals. And so that means we are going to head back in to the Wheel of Fate. And guys, congratulations. A fun model. A lot of times when people look at tootalltoby.com, there's a model kind of early in the library that looks kind of like a coffee mug. It's actually a cap for a trampoline, but it looks kind of like a coffee mug. People refer to it as a coffee mug. So I've been excited for a while to try to get this one into the library. Wasn't sure how I would do it, if I would do it with splines or with arcs. And it looks like we decided to do it with arcs. So, wow. So close. Let's see. Dom comes in with his answer, 262.69. No, not correct, my friend. Close.
It's going to be, what, 262.9 at a minimum?
262.9 is the bottom of that thing. I should have asked the chat to answer it. 262.69, close, but not quite correct. So close, though, man. And these are the kinds of models that are sometimes a little bit tricky. It could have been, I'd say, interestingly, it could have been, I mean, that move face shouldn't have caused it to go out of, there must have been something else in there. It looked like Ate did the correct. What was the correct answer? 262.9 to 264.7. The dead-on answer was 263.8. That's what I got in SolidWorks and in Onshape. And I did it with sweeps and with lofts in both programs. Do not merge tangent faces, maybe. Yeah, that could be it. Maybe I needed to make that tolerance looser. But if I go too loose, then you can get away with like kind of doing whatever you want. Make like crazy geometry. Yeah, maybe I just need to add a note on there. Well, not good enough. That's all right. All right, here we go, guys. Let's get back to it. GG to the winner. Thank you again to Plasticity for sponsoring the Wheel of Fate. Guys, if you want to try to guess what is coming up next on the Wheel of Fate, this is your chance to prove clairvoyance. I want to say thank you so much to Plasticity for sponsoring the Wheel of Fate. Phil, you ever get into models like that last one, the swoopy, lofty models?
Very rarely. I actually had a very interesting part get sent to me by one of my customers at the end of the day. I'll see if I can get it shared with you, but it would be very interesting. Now, the tolerance of the part is not important. It's decorative woodwork, but how you would achieve the profile is quite scary, to say the least.
Well, I've always been a fan of this kind of swoopy, lofty stuff. I've done plenty of surfacing work, but there's certainly people out there that have more experience than me. But if you ever need anything swoopy, lofty like that last part, you can always check out our sponsor, Plasticity, plasticity.xyz. They are sponsoring the Wheel of Fate for this tournament, and we got some people in the chat guessing. Dom thinks it's going to be 20. Motivation Everyday thought it was going to be 20, but then decided to retract his message. And Abajoy thinks it's going to be 20. John G thinks 20. Jim U thinks it's going to be 20. Let's give this thing a spin. I'm going to shuffle it up a little bit this time first and spin. And let's see what we come up with this time around. And here we go. These guys were correct. It is going to be 20. So
the fact that you spun it is worth every day.
Congratulations to our runners. Well, while they are competing in this next battle, I'll load up a couple of other models, our kind of backup models, so that we're ready for the next round. But let's remove that from the wheel. And thanks again to Plasticity for sponsoring the wheel. And guys, here we go. Let's get into this next battle. And Phil, while we're getting ready for this next battle, maybe you could just share some advice with these guys for this next go around.
Share some advice. I'm probably the worst one to give advice, it seems like. But back to it. Like we said, you got Atse versus Ricardo. After the fact, I'm sending Toby the paperwork to go ahead and get the rights to the movie after the fact. Someday, somebody's going to make a movie about these Titans going back and forth against it. I'm going to get that movie rights locked in right now. But again, I think it's one of those things that there's so much talent between these two guys that something as simple as one little detail could be missed and you could lose it all.
Yeah.
So again, you got to go slow if you're going to win. I think that's the secret.
Man. Well, that's great advice, and I completely agree with you. And I guess there's not much more to say, guys. Good luck. Ricardo Jean has 1 point in this CAD versus CAD final showdown. If he can win a second point here, he will lock up his 3rd tournament victory. Atse has no points so far, but if he can win this next match, then we all get to watch a 4th battle, so we all win. So good luck to both of these runners. On the left, we've got Atse from North Macedonia running SolidWorks. On the right, we've got Ricardo Jean from Brazil running SolidWorks. This CAD vs. CAD battle in our tournament finals begins in 3, 2, 1. Go! What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? We can see that this part is a T-handle 2. It's a tier 6 model, believe it or not. Looks pretty simple when you first look at it, but maybe is a little bit of trickery in this thing. We've got this thing made out of ABS, 1020 kilograms per cubic meter. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? Plus or minus 0.4 grams. And you can see, running up the right side of this print, there are callouts indicating radius 20, radius 20, radius 20, radius 20, radius 20, and radius 20 spherical. So we're going to see how these guys handle a challenge like this. It's got a round handle, and that's kind of blending into that side wall, which is not quite straight, but close. We've got Ricardo Jean on the left. He's got 1 point in this tournament finals. If he can win this one, he's going to take down the finals in his 3rd championship. We've got Atse on the right. He hasn't earned a point yet in this tournament finals. but he's looking to stop Ricardo in his tracks. Continuing with our theme of winter models, and this one is a shovel handle for a snow shovel. I like how Atse decided to start out with a slot command. Yeah, I see in the chat MEHTAB noticing that as well. He basically already won. You know, if you start out with your first sketch and it's a slot feature, you're done. You already won the whole thing. So every time. That's the turning point of the tournament right there. Meanwhile, Ricardo Jean on the left, modeling up this part. Wow, making short work of that first sketch and drawing first blood in this possible final match here. Okay, getting in there, creating that sketch, looking at it kind of from that front view. Wow, look at how quickly he rounded that thing off. My goodness. Do not mess with Ricardo. That's the lesson here. It's always interesting to do these kind of, you can see on the left, Ricardo is, he's drawn first blood, he's mirrored that part, he's added the fillers. Now we get into this kind of interesting scenario here where you have to decide what you're going to do with this internal, you know, you've got the, if you notice, you got the rounded handle at the top, it rounds around, and then there's kind of almost like a flat spot on the inside. And I always find those types of geometric transitions to be kind of challenging and interesting.
It's definitely a little bit of an optical illusion in some ways. You gotta really be a high-tier actual designer and CAD guru to be able to see past certain things that are trimmed away by later features.
Yes, well said, well said. That's exactly it. You're like looking into the future of your CAD model, of your feature tree. And so now,
if I do A, what happens to B, right?
Yes, exactly. So Ricardo Jean looking in on this thing from the front, and it looks like he's going to construct this. Oh, interesting. Atse on the left, deciding to model this thing up using some lofting options. Wow. Very unexpected and very well done, very quickly done. And look at that. Once again, just like we saw in the previous match or two matches ago, or in the previous match, you know, Ricardo Jean has modeled up maybe 5, 6, 7 features here, and Atse just comes in with one single feature and captures all that information. So really interesting to see how these two wizards are approaching this thing.
Yeah, it's like I just said. I mean, it's a big deal. If you can look past some of the features on this model, the way you go about it is night and day difference, whether you're going with a loft or starting with a rudimentarily square part and filleting your way around.
Wow. And now Atse coming through with some multi-body work as well. Interesting. MEHTAB calling that out in the chat. And now we see Ricardo Jean on the left. Okay, creating that transition. Wow. Rounding that thing off from, what did he do? He cut it down and then was able to round it off. Wow. Wow. Really, really interesting to see how both these guys are approaching this thing.
Oh, man.
Well, it's leading to some very creative decisions. So it's working.
For sure. It's much easier once I've watched both of them do it to try to do it on my end.
And interesting. It looks like Ricardo here is now trying to construct the geometry for that inner shape.
That structural support in the middle?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a tricky part. It's you can see it's right there in that area of tangency. It's a little bit tricky to figure out how to get it and what you're actually trying to make it tangent to. So it looks like he's going to dive into what we call contour selection to get that geometry constructed. And wow, Ricardo Jean getting through that thing in sub 6 minutes. Let's see here. Looking at his model, trying to figure out if he...
And you got Atse on the other side. He just did kind of the same thing. However, he did it at the sketch level.
Wow. Oh, and there we see the the old SolidWorks blow up from that edit one little thing, and it just it all blew up there. Rock Crawler in the chat says, "I'm late to the party. You're right on time, my friend." We're seeing Ricardo Otze, 1 point for Ricardo so far. He's trying to secure his third victory in the world of 3D CAD speed modeling, and we see Otze on the right trying to stop this run. Wow, interesting how Ricardo decided to fix that up instead of going back to the base and changing the base.
Yeah, that was interesting to me, to say the least.
Yeah, really, really interesting. MEHTABs is so funny, seeing all the red arrows. Yeah, nice to know that I'm not the only one that runs into them. And DIYX Thrash Garage says, Ricardo's so fast that I'll have to watch it again later in slow motion. Yeah. You could definitely pick up a lot of tips and tricks watching these guys. It's funny how often I'll be putting together the highlight videos and just realize in the highlight video something really cool they did that I didn't even notice during the live stream. So definitely a lot going on here. And Ricardo Jean looks like he's heading into his calculator here. Let's see what he comes up with. Ricardo Jean comes in with his first answer, 170.417, and that is not correct. That is not correct with intolerance. We have checked and double checked to make sure we're not making a mistake again. That is not correct. Not correct with intolerance. So 170.417, not correct. Not correct with intolerance. There's got to be something off about this model. And it's going to be up to Ricardo Jean to go through and try to figure out what that something is. And he's looking over this thing and he's trying to figure out where the heck did this go wrong? And Ate is getting close here as well.
It is quite the geometry on that part when you really start to look at the handle and the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
That is one that could make or break it, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah. I agree. It's definitely something where you have to kind of you have to really look at the different views that are on the print and you know, examine what's going on with those views and what's going on with the.
You got Ricardo inspecting something there.
Yeah,
Is that a weird surfacing?
Yeah, I see that
happening.
It's interesting. It looks like it's only happening on the one side, but it looks like maybe he's resolved it there, or at least gotten it closer.
Oh, it's happening on both sides. I don't know. Is that a gap? Is that a space? Is that the difference of 0.1 grams to get within tolerance? We won't know.
Yeah, exactly. This one's a little bit more snug. I think this one is 0.4 grams across XXX. So still pretty generous tolerance, but maybe part of what's causing the issue here.
You guys will have to let me know. Is that technically a gap there, or is that?
Wow, Ricardo Jean just rips on that delete face so fast. It's cool. MEHTAB says, I like to see them struggling.
We always joke about that on our channel. I think that's the only reason people come over to our channel is to watch me absolutely ruin something and then try to dig my way back out.
Well, it is a good, it's a good learning experience. It's good to try to figure out what needs to be done to dig yourself out in those situations. So.
I feel bad trying to tie my shoe here real quick. If you guys are wondering, I might miss the winner.
Let's see what Ricardo's going to do now. Looks like he might be diving into some multi-body action here.
I guess that would be one way to fix it, right? Split it apart, do it the way you think, and then join back together.
I mean, this is where, you know, like kind of what you were saying earlier about machine time and setup, and this is where, you know, this is where you really earn your money as a designer, as an engineer, and as a CAD jockey is, you know, knowing not only how to construct the geometry to begin with, but knowing how to fix it if something does go wrong, or how to get it back to the state that the customer is really looking for. So this is, you know, MEHTAB said it in the chat that it's fun to watch them when they're struggling, but I think it's also super educational to see how these guys kind of think through a challenge like this and how they end up trying to resolve it. So this is really, it's almost hard to commentate on because it's so interesting to watch, and I'm kind of putting myself in their mind, you know, and like you said, Phil, it looks like he just kind of went in and said, all right, I'm gonna go back to kind of square one here. I'm gonna break this thing apart and try to put it back together and see if maybe I can come up with results that look a little bit more like what I'm seeing in the drawing, you know. And sometimes that's exactly what you have to do. Sometimes that's the only way to really get the model to the state that you need it in.
Yeah, it's crazy on both sides of the fence what's going on right now.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Now Ricardo running into an error with the fillet and opting to jump to a different type of fillet. We call it the face fillet, and the face fillet in SolidWorks is like the hammer of SolidWorks. It will often take care of issues that a regular fillet doesn't take care of. But it looks like for some reason even the face fillet is fighting with Ricardo Jean here. It's got to be frustrating to be so close to locking down that victory and you know, and not knowing what to do here and not knowing how to proceed. And so yeah, so interesting to watch. And we're gonna keep an eye on the chat. I got a feeling we might end up seeing an answer coming in here from Atse as well. Atse, of course, looking at his model doesn't quite seem to match up with what we see on the drawing, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be within tolerance. We have a pretty generous tolerance on this one as well, 0.4 grams. So Ricardo so far has answered once, one time incorrectly. He's going to have the opportunity to answer again. And we're going to see what he ends up coming up with. I mean, the model, what he's doing here is interesting. It's definitely changed from where he was originally. You just never know if it's changing for the better or the worse, right?
You don't. That's the thing. I'm waiting for 3 mouse clicks, and all of a sudden we have an answer and a perfect part.
Right. It's always the hard part with these challenges. Trying to keep an eye on the chat. I'm also trying to bring up some of these drawing views so the audience can maybe see a different view of this thing.
You know, it's kind of crazy is between both screens, you have the same thing kind of happening with the model. There we go.
Okay,
we got an answer.
Ate comes in with an answer, 149.6, and that is not correct. That is not correct within tolerance. So now both of our runners have answered incorrectly one time, which means that both of our runners still have a chance to answer incorrectly again. But when we get the next incorrect answer, we're going to bring up what we call the Wheel of Fate. The Wheel of Fate. And, of course, the Wheel of Fate is designed to make sure that these matches don't just run on forever. And we even have another I don't think it's ever really been used, but we do have another rule to help with that called the sudden death rule, which is once there's 2 pushes. So, for example, if both of these guys, if both of these guys don't solve this one, if this one ends up being a push, we're going to see a sudden death ruling for the finals, Phil, and we'll get into what those rules are in just a moment. I might actually have to go back to TooTallToby.com and look at the tournament rules and see if I'm remembering correctly. It's been so long. Serial Sal asking in the chat if the chat can steal the point.
Not until we get 2 more answers.
Yeah.
We keep seeing Clock of Doom. However, both contestants still have 1 answer left.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, the Clock of Doom is meant to make it so that if one person answers wrong twice, that the other person can't just like run forever. So no Clock of Doom, but I'm gonna take a look at the. I don't want to miss it if the answer comes in, but I want to take a look at the tournament rules and see what the rules are.
You got Ricardo with an answer.
And Ricardo comes in with his second answer, 171.6, and that is not correct. That is not correct either. And so now we turn to the Clock of Doom. And when it comes to the Clock of Doom, we are going to now see Atse with 5 minutes to try to finish this thing out. And we'll try to get some good modeling music for him. Here we go, Atse. While Atse is trying to come up with this answer, I'm going to take a look at the tournament rules. Confirm the sudden death rule is about to kick in.
I was going to say, on my end, I got a live stream coming up here at the top of the hour, too. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch the final.
All right, Phil. Well, listen, I am looking at the rules. We're going to up the stakes even further here. I am looking at the rules here for the Winter Freeze, and it does indeed say that if 2 matches conclude in a push, then all subsequent battles in that matchup will utilize sudden death rules. So we'll talk a little bit more about what sudden death rules are here in just a moment. But if Atse is not able to come up with the correct answer, then we are going to flip over to sudden death rules for this challenge. And this is going to get really interesting here. So when it comes to sudden death rules, what that means is that whenever someone submits an answer, a point is immediately awarded. And so what that means is if one person submits an answer and it's correct, they immediately get a point. If they submit an answer it's incorrect, their opponent immediately gets a point. So that is how sudden death rules work in these tournaments. And if we have had matches that have gone kind of on and on and on, multiple pushes, another push, another push, another push. And so we want to make sure that we give ourselves the ability to get Phil out of here in time for his live stream. We want to make sure that the match doesn't go on. I love seeing the finals, and I would love to see these guys battle all day. But we do need to, at some point, declare a champion. And so now the pressure is on for Atse here. Is he going to do better under sudden death rules, or is he going to do better with the standard rules? That's another question.
So I might have missed it. You said it's first one to how many points at that point?
Well, the rule for the points still works the same way, but the idea with the sudden death rules is that as soon as you submit an answer, somebody
you can dig a hole.
So let's say, for example, Ricardo answers one time and he gets it wrong, then Atse just immediately gets the point. He doesn't have to earn the point. He doesn't have to come up with the correct answer. Just answering it wrong gives a point to your opponent. We take the stakes up a little bit. I don't know if we've ever actually used this in competition.
Leave it to be the time that I'm going to stream later in the day so I can be here to help host.
That's
perfect. It's going to happen.
Yeah. No. Atse says, so I win? No, not yet. It hasn't even kicked in yet. It'll only kick in if you do not get this correct. But we have not seen your answer yet. So we're waiting for the answer from Atse. He's got 1 minute left on the clock, and we're going to keep an eye on the chat and see if he comes in with the correct answer. And Atse comes in with his second answer, 150.376, and that is not correct. That is not correct. And so we are officially going to sudden death rules. And guys, if you're in the chat and you think you got it correct, feel free to type in your answer in the chat. If you think you got it correct, if you've been modeling it, this is your chance to steal. You can steal. You don't really steal anything, but you can steal. You can get some glory. We're going to turn it over to the chat. We have answers so different. Yes, we have answers came in. They were very different. What do you think, guys? Did anybody get it in the chat? Let me know. Let me know. Nobody did it in the chat. It's a tough one. Well, we'll leave that one open there. I think, Ricardo, I think yours was...
we got a 167 and a 169.
167 and 169, both close, but not correct. Ricardo, I think the curved handle on yours might be setting down a little too low, like where the support, the 6mm support thing. I think that might have been what the issue was. It looked like it was a little low compared to the, let's see here, base Frama. MEHTAB says 165. Nope. Base Frama says 168.2321. Nope. Wow, nobody's getting this one. All right.
I'm assuming if Ricardo's dimension was wrong, he was on the low end. So was it 173, 175?
No. The other way.
The other way?
Mm-hmm.
He's down at the 170s? That's about the only number we don't have out there yet.
Well, it looks like the chat is also stumped by this one. Guys, the correct answer for this one is 162 on the nose. 162 on the nose.
Had you split the two of them, Ase and Ricardo, you would have hit it.
Yeah, exactly. 162 on the nose. So, but yeah, you're right. If that thing did move up, it would be more mass. So we'd have to look and see. It looked like Ricardo was on the right track with what he was doing. I think maybe there just must be a dimension off or something somewhere. I don't know. Looked like he was right on track. And MEHTAB in the chat says, Toby, we need tutorials on all these. You got it. You got it, bro. You got it. 162 on the nose for this one. When I did this one, I modeled it. I audited it like 5 times. And literally every time I audited it, I forgot to put the hole in the bottom. And then I would go and look at the mass and I'm like, why is mine so heavy? And then, so that's why I made that whole magenta in that upper isometric view or the upper angled view. Because I just, every single time I did it, I was like, oh, I keep missing the hole in this one. All right, guys. Well, listen, we are officially in sudden death rules. And so what that means is that for this next battle, after we show the print, whoever answers, once an answer is submitted, a point will be awarded. Ricardo Jean has 1 point. He needs 2 points to win. That means if Otse answers incorrectly, the point will go to Ricardo and the tournament will be over. If Ricardo answers incorrectly, the point will go to Otse and the tournament will continue. And Otse will have 1 point and Ricardo will have 1 point, and we will continue and have another sudden death battle. And if Ricardo answers correctly, he will win the point and he will be declared the champion. And if Otse answers correctly, he will win the point and we will go on to the final battle. So that is how sudden death works. Now we're taking the stakes up a little bit. You can no longer answer incorrectly. If you answer incorrectly, you're giving a point to your opponent. That is how sudden death works. And those rules are all available in the Winter Freeze rules. And MEHTAB, I think MEHTAB was also reading the rules. I think he said there's also going to be like a shot clock, basically. 12-minute clock. I don't know if I'm going to actually do this, MEHTAB, but it says the battles will also feature a 12-minute battle clock. If neither runner submits an answer within this 12 minutes, Too Tall Toby will flip a coin and randomly select a winner for this point. I don't know if we're gonna actually use the battle clock for 12 minutes. It seems a little unnecessary right now, but we are gonna do the sudden death. Okay, so good luck to both of our runners, and man, congratulations, you guys, getting this far. Some tricky models today. I'll do some tutorials on these models, and we can see what exactly we're missing or anything. But let's turn back over to the Wheel of Fate. Thank you again so much to our friends over at Plasticity for sponsoring the Wheel of Fate. And for these final battles, we're going to be taking a deeper dive here into the wheel. We're going for some backup here in the wheel. So we got drawing number 30 and drawing number 32. And Phil, I know you have copies of these drawings. And currently the arrow is on the darker purple. So do we think that's what the number is going to be?
100%.
Okay.
I'm going 30. Unless you shuffle the numbers on me last minute.
I'm not going to shuffle them. I'm not going to shuffle them. So we're going to bet everything on the 30. All right, I'm going to bet everything on the 30 as well.
Everything on purple.
Putting everything on purple. Here we go, guys. Let's give this thing a spin. 30, 30, 30, and spin. Stop, slow down. Okay. Wow. Woo. That had me nervous. Oh, baby. Okay. Guys, congratulations again, making it to the finals. I know these models are a little bit more difficult today, but it's been difficult the entire tournament. And we're gonna kind of get back to basics now. So take a deep breath, shake it off. If anybody needs to use the bathroom or anything, let me know. And 30 was correct. Congratulations to everybody who predicted that it was going to be 30. You did it. You got it right. Good job. And guys, we're going to get into this next CAD versus CAD battle featuring Ase and Ricardo Jean. We've seen these guys battle before. These are some pretty tricky parts, huh, Phil?
Yeah, this is this one I think is going to be the worst, honestly.
Oh, all right.
I was hoping it was the other model, but you know what? Let's see it. Let's just get to it. Let's get it going.
Let's just get it going. Let's just get into
Let's
it
go.
and get it going. All right, guys. Well, listen, I hope you guys are good. I hope you guys are ready to go. I think the production team, the production team just confirmed with me that they are ready to go with this thing. So here we go. This next CAD vs. CAD battle for our tournament finals, featuring Ase, who has 0 points running SolidWorks, and Ricardo Jean, who has 1 point running SolidWorks. If Ricardo Jean can earn this next point, then he is going to win the entire tournament. If Ase wins his next point, then we all win because we all get to see another battle between these two titans. Sudden death rules are now in effect. If someone answers incorrectly, the point is immediately awarded to their opponent. If someone answers correctly, then they earn the point. Here we go. This CAD vs. CAD battle begins in 3, 2, 1, go. What is the mass of this part? Sorry, guys, screen capture that again. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? Make sure you screen capture that and get the 40 up top. Clock was in the way there temporarily. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? Okay, make sure that you screen capture that. Whoops, looks like we just lost one of our runners. Looks like we lost Ricardo. He may have been screen capturing, and here we go. He's back.
Oh, no.
He's back. It's all good. All right. Both of our runners grabbed the screen capture. Make sure you get that number 40 up top. And good luck, guys. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? The tolerance is plus or minus 1 gram. And this is more of a machined part. It's actually a part that has been in tournaments in the past. Of course, we always try to remix them a little bit. And I'm just going to make a quick note here in the chat. Missing dimension up top under clock is 40 millimeters. I think that was diameter, right? Maybe I can bring it up here on the overlay. I like this music, man. I'm getting hyped. Guys, these guys are so fast. We got Ricardo Jean on the left. We got Ase on the right. Is that right? Covering up the action there, sorry. We got Ricardo Jean on the left. We got Ase on the right. I'm mixed up there. Did you see who drew first blood?
Sorry, I was muted again. Did I see who drew off first blood?
Yeah.
No, I definitely did not.
It's going so fast, man.
I mean, first blood around here means the first one to a solid, so it's
Exactly.
hard to say.
Yeah, exactly. Well, both of our runners taking an interesting approach in this thing. Man, Ricardo Jean is just eating this part up. My goodness, my goodness. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to put that up on the screen, the tab, so they can see that if they happen to look back. Yeah, the clock was unfortunately covering that 40 dimension, but I've got it up on the main overlay now. So hopefully, if that does become an issue, they'll be able to look up and see it. Guys, we got Ricardo Jean on the left. He's our current world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling. We got Atse on the right, and he is our runner-up. He's been battling back and forth with Ricardo now for the past 3 or 4 tournaments, and Ricardo Jean modeling up this part. This is called a cast Y port. This would be like a part that you might cast, although I don't think we have the draft on this part for casting, but this is kind of how it would get started. You would probably design that draft in next. Jern saying the music was a little bit loud. Sorry about that, Jern. I was hyped up, trying to get that thing up and running. Here we are, guys, in the finals of this tournament. If Ricardo Jean can earn this point, he will finally secure his 3rd tournament championship. If Atse can come up with the mask before Ricardo, or if Ricardo makes a mistake, then we will be going to another battle. This part is, of all the parts we've seen these guys doing today, this one is a little bit more of a machine-y type part, a little bit less lofty, swoopy, blendy. Still room to use tools, though, like multi-body and delete face and indent.
Very, very interesting approaches, as always.
Man, that kind of trapezoidal flange sticking out the end, I always struggle with them so much, and Ricardo was able to get through that so quickly.
This is one of those things that I feel like initially you look at these parts and you think, man, that'd be real easy to do. But when you start to deal with the idea of tubing, especially something like a Y pipe or a Y intersect, it almost changes the whole thing at the end of the day.
It can really throw people off, you know, especially depending on what their level of experience is and understanding kind of how to manage what's going on in those internal walls and how the blends are taking place in those internal walls. I've seen it throw off some really strong users before.
It's not so much that even. It's, you know, Atse's using a very different kind of technique here over Ricardo, and it just seems like the idea of looking down and drawing rectangles, it just isn't going to work in some type of scenario here. Yet, Atse is making me feel like an idiot saying that because he is just getting after it at the end of the day.
No, man, he's always so, you know, so surprising and so creative, I would say. You know, there's so many times where Atse model stuff up in a way that you really don't expect it, and so creative.
I like his approach, though. It's definitely one of those things that, based on more of a revolve technique, it could be, again, make or break. Now, the question's going to be, is like you said, is when you start to deal with the Y intersect, how you handle that.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing that we haven't really seen these runners get into too much so far in this model, because we've seen them do what I would consider kind of the more obvious part of the model, but there's still an entire underside to this model. We see Ricardo just flipped over, and that's where I think things are going to get really interesting, because it's not only the fact that the model has that Y intersect up top and that trapezoidal flange up top, which are pretty complicated features in and of themselves. But then you've also got the whole underside being kind of hollowed out like a cast part, you know, like it's a cast Y port. And so that can definitely cause some hiccups as well. And so we see Ricardo was able to get in there and get that pretty quick. Looked like he actually used a shell to accomplish that. So that's interesting. And it doesn't give him exactly what he was going for, but where is he going to go from here? Always so fun to watch Ricardo here in action and see kind of, okay, so it looks like maybe there was some Control Z action there, some undo to get going back.
See, I was worried about this a little bit because then you start to deal with certain things that could cause intersects and who knows what, right?
Are you referring to what's going on Atse's screen?
I am,
Yeah.
and I hate to be the one to brag it up, but this is where like a couple of cylinders, a little bit of a move command, and a shell command could be very valuable.
Yeah. This is definitely, you know, getting back. Like I said, we had a very similar model of this a few years ago in the Too Tall Toby tournament, and this is definitely kind of getting back to, I don't want to say getting back to basics, but it's getting back to the more traditional challenges we would do, which were, you know, they weren't swoopy, they weren't tricky because they were swoopy lofty, they were tricky because of how the order of feature creation becomes so important. And so
Yeah.
look at this, Ricardo getting in that kind of cylinder on the bottom side of the part. Wow, that was really clever how he did that. Look, he did a convert entities and got that geometry that he needed for that extrusion. And now he's doing what we call the final spin. He's going around looking at the model, seeing if there's anything else on this model that needs to be addressed, that needs to be cleaned up, maybe recognizing a couple of faces here that maybe need to be worked on, need to be refined, and he's taking care of them as well.
So I guess one question I would have at the end of the day is, in the world of SolidWorks, do you have an extrude to surface or an extrude to object?
Oh yeah. Yep, absolutely. So we're watching the chat, and Atse is in the chat, and he's got his mat, or in the competition, he's got his mass up and showing. We're just waiting for him to submit that. The answer did not come in yet, so we're just waiting to see it, and we are watching. I did not see the answer come in. I'm looking at multiple chats here. Logged into a few different computers here. Atse is looking at it. Atse, maybe he decided not to submit it. Maybe he's refining his design as well. So interesting.
For what it's worth, he might be watching live on Ricardo's screen and noticing something that probably might have happened.
It could definitely be a strategy, and so we're watching Ricardo as well.
On something else, he wasn't watching Ricardo's screen, but he definitely backed off to see that he was missing something.
Yeah, and Ricardo Jean comes in with an answer. Now remember, if this answer is correct, he gets the point. If it's incorrect, he gives the point to Atse. So I just want to double check my answer key and make sure that I'm reading this correctly. Ricardo Jean comes in with his answer: 491 grams, and that is correct. And Ricardo Jean, congratulations. Wow. Holy smokes. We are witnessing history here. The first ever two-time tournament winner becomes the first ever three-time tournament champion. Holy smokes, guys. What a battle there. What a series of matches. Not easy. Almost had it won earlier. There was a mistake from the commentary. Came back even through that and ended up taking down the whole thing. Holy smokes. Guys, put a GG in the chat for our three-time champion, Ricardo Jean. And wow. Amazing. He's even got his own victory cat there set up in SolidWorks to show off his skills. That's true pro move there. Wow. Guys, the correct answer was 491 plus or minus 1 gram. Ricardo Jean goes through, models it like the absolute wizard, the absolute pro that he is, under 10 minutes for a very complicated model. Wow, guys, put a GG in the chat for Ricardo Jean. Amazing. Congratulations to all of our runners. Thank you so much to all the runners who were part of this tournament. And of course, congratulations to Atse coming in second place and winning a Space Mouse Wireless. And congratulations to Ricardo Jean coming in first place, winning a Space Mouse Wireless Kit 2. Well done, my friend. Well done. Some more hardware for you to put on that shelf. And wow. So awesome. Ricardo Jean is still celebrating here in the chat. I love it. Still spinning that cat back and forth. That's what is up. Incredible. Very fast modeling there, especially on that last one. Man, guys, awesome job. Congratulations. Ricardo Jean becomes our first ever three-time tournament winner. Absolutely crushing it throughout the entire bracket. Absolutely showing what it is to be a champion and a wizard at 3D CAD. Put a GG in the chat for our champion, Ricardo Jean. Man, that is so awesome. Very proud of all of our runners. Very proud of you, Ricardo. Good job, my man. Awesome job. And guys, that's going to bring us to the end of our live stream. I want to, of course, say thank you so much to our tournament sponsors. We could not have this tournament without our amazing sponsors. Please be sure to reach out to them. Xometry at xometry.com, mysolidbox.com, the crew over at Solidbox. 3D Connection for any of your 3D CAD hardware and peripheral needs. And, of course, Plasticity for sponsoring the Wheel of Fate, plasticity.xyz. Our next tournament is scheduled to come up here in a few months. We're going to have a tournament over summer. We're going to do some special stuff for that tournament. Between now and then, we're going to try and have some grudge matches, some exhibition matches. So we're going to try and keep it lively and keep it fun. But remember, if you see any of our sponsors on social media, be sure to give them some love. Want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Phil Brown. Phil, thank you so much for joining me for all these live streams. It's been awesome.
No worries, man. I have a blast every time you get to ask me to come out here and hang out and enjoy some great competition. And I even learn new things. It seems like every time these guys go to head.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. And congratulations congratulations on all your success at JitCAD Cam, and good luck with your upcoming training, Fusion Bootcamp. If you guys are Fusion users, make sure that you let him know. Make sure that you, if you're Fusion user, sorry, I'm reading the chat. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. Ase had said, I guess sudden death wasn't in effect. Wait, did Ase answer wrong? Is that why he's saying that? 493. Did somebody answer wrong? Nobody answered.
Uh-oh.
Nobody answered wrong on that last one, right? Wait, hold on. Is there more controversy? Did I just get into a mode? No, nobody answered wrong, right? Yeah. So sudden death wouldn't come into play if as long as Ricardo answered correctly on his first try. I'm sorry, Phil. I didn't mean to interrupt the promo. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing anything.
No, you're good. I understand completely. In the meantime, while you scroll through there, I'll let you guys know I'm about to go live here in 20 minutes back on our YouTube channel, and you guys are more than welcome to come check it out and hang out, where we mainly focus on cam, but we're always happy to look at design and modeling stuff as well.
Dude, I am so excited to hear how this roadshow goes, and hopefully in the future I'll be able to come down and visit you for the roadshow. And good luck with your live stream. I know your live streams are always awesome. We'll finish up here so you can jump off here. Guys, make sure you go over to Fusion Phil's channel. You can see Vicky just dropped it into the chat, so you can join him for a live stream as well. And guys, thank you so much to the amazing chat. Thanks for all the super chat. Thanks for all the support. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to sign up for a free account at tootalltoby.com. And guys, we'll be back on Model Monday Live. If you like these kinds of CAD vs. CAD challenges, we are going to be doing a live stream this Monday on Model Monday Live. So join us here on tootalltoby.com. And if you want to practice over the weekend, be sure to visit us at tootalltoby.com. And this is an awesome way to end the week and to end the tournament. So I just want to again say thank you all so much. But don't forget, if you're still going to be at your computer, jump over onto Fusion Phil's live stream. It's going to be a lot of fun over there. Phil, good luck on your live stream. Good luck this weekend, and I will see you in the next live stream, and I will see everybody in the next live stream. Any final thoughts for the chat?
From me or the chat?
From you.
Oh, from me? No. Stoked. Can't wait until the summer games begin.
Yeah,
to say
exactly.
The least.
We'll see what happens. Maybe Ricardo will get his 4th victory there, his 4th belt. Guys, awesome live stream, awesome tournament. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this, and we will see you in the next one. See you, everybody.